business owners. It's time to take your business to the next level with ABC News GH Television's mega promo. From August 1st to October 31st, 2024, we're offering you unbeatable deals to advertise your products and services. Don't miss out on this amazing chance to reach more people and grow your brand. For more details, give us a call on 050-993-0360. Remember, terms and conditions apply. Follow us on social media at ABC News GH _.
Best Inventor Ghana Season 3 is here. ScanBrain Limited, organizers of the Best Inventor Ghana, has opened registration for the third season of this.
Good morning and thank you for choosing ABC News Ghana. This is ABC Headlines and I am Jennifer Samoa. Coming up, government has broken silence on the call by labor unions and civil society organizations for total ban on Galamsey, saying it is committed to sustainable mining. Also coming up, police gives green light to the opposition NDC to protest against the EC on their quest for clean voters register on September 17. Still to come, government has increased cocoa producer price for 2024-2025 increase by over 120%. This and many more coming up. Do stay with us. This is ABC Headlines. Now to our first story. The Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources has reiterated the government's commitment to promoting sustainable and legal mining practices in Ghana. In a statement issued on Wednesday, September 11, the ministry stressed that responsible mining remains a priority to protect the environment and ensure the well-being of communities impacted by mining activities. The ministry highlighted the government's ongoing efforts to combat illegal mining or Galamsey, which have been intensified under the current administration. The minister further described calls for a state of emergency to combat illegal mining, draconian and far-reaching. He stressed that while the fight against Galamsey remains one of the government's top priorities, extreme measures could have unintended consequences on the economy, livelihoods, and governance. On Wednesday, September 11, organized labor also issued a stern warning to the government, threatening a nationwide strike by the end of September if decisive action is not taken to address the escalating Galamsey crisis. However, the minister cautioned against declaring a state of emergency, suggesting it could lead to deeper social and economic instability. Meanwhile, the Coalition of Civil Society Groups on Sustainable Development Goals has called on the government to take immediate action to address the Galamsey menace, which they say has reached crisis proportions. At a press conference in Accra, the groups, including the Media Coalition Against Galamsey, the Trades Union Congress, and the Ghana Federation of Labour, among others, demanded that President Nana Akufo-Addo declare a state of emergency over the country's water bodies and deploy the military to clear all illegal miners.
Galamsey is affecting the quality of food security, SDG 2. Galamsey is affecting good health and well-being, SDG 3. Galamsey is further widening the inequality gap between men and women and then gender, because when there is no water, it is most likely the young girl, the young boy, or the woman who goes to fetch water. If there is food shortage, it is the woman who bears the brunt of it the more. SDG 6 is affected because we do not have clean water. We are already grappling with sanitation, and clean water is a problem. Permit me to say, there is a famous Akan proverb that says that Achimnia onum Bremu. Bremu is a river. What has happened to Bremu? SDG 7 is affected. Clean energy. We go down to SDG 13, climate action. Jonathan of CASA Initiative has already spoken about it. The fishes are suffocating in our rivers. They are living in mud in their own habitat. We cannot be eating fish that is mercury polluted. We are grappling with microfiber from plastics, and we cannot accept mercury. It is causing deformities in babies, Pediatric Association has said. SDG 15 is affected because we are destroying our canopies in the forest. We are exposing our land to all sorts of hardships, and we bear the brunt of it.
The media coalition against illegal mining has called on the government to act swiftly to address the ongoing illegal mining crisis, which has severely affected rivers and farmlands across the country. During a press conference in Accra on Wednesday, Most Reverend Matthew Kwesi Gyamfi, president of the Catholic Bishops' Conference, echoed the urgent need for action.
Stop talking. We will now put pressure. And in this stage, as media, we are not going to report what other people say. We've taken a position. Our position is for Ghana. The Constitution puts sovereignty in our hands. It's not in the hands of just a few elected people. Where was the NDC when the LI 2462 was passed? Where were they? So they themselves, they are culpable in it. Again, go back and look at the history. In 2016, we had a president, the current president, in Obuasi, talking about the fact that it's a lie that when he comes, he's coming to stop Galamsey. So what does that mean? It means what? Perpetuating it. So you saw 2017 TBT go up. Then when we started the fight, there were elements in the NDC as well. One of them was caught on tape talking about the fact that the 7th January when they come, they should go back into the pit. So 2020 we started, they left the war, and they've never gone back to it. Operation Halt, all of that. We've seen a parliamentary candidate say they should beat up soldiers who come. That is a crime. By that time, that person should be prosecuted. But what has happened to it? Nothing. And am I hearing some other vice presidential candidates talking about the fact that they're going to release excavators? What is that? What is that? I'm also hearing some other presidential candidates talk about the fact that when you ban Galamsey, job what is that? We are in a crisis, and so we are going to be asking to meet all the presidential candidates, and we want them to put it open that they support whatever action that we're asking for. They support it. We don't want them to come to Accra and come and tell us, oh, they are not fighting Galamsey. Then they will go into some of those places and do that. So please, for all of us who are here, it's because you are committed not to your future. Forget about your future. It's about your today. It's about your now. The fact that you are being poisoned. It's about the genocide that is continuing. It's about fighting that. Then we'll start thinking about the future.
Still on Galamsey, the Christian Council of Ghana has joined the growing calls for a complete and decisive ban on illegal mining activities. The Council's call comes in response to the devastating environmental and social impacts caused by the illegal practice, which have become a pressing concern for many stakeholders nationwide. At the forefront of this appeal is the General Secretary of the Christian Council, Reverend Cyril Fayose, who emphasized the existential threat posed by Galamsey to Ghana's natural resources.
Developments in our nation and reports in both electronic and print media suggests that there has been lack of political will in the fight against this evil. On our various pastoral and social visits to some localities, we affirm the destruction of forests and the cutting down of cash crops for the purpose of Galamsey. Our sources of livelihood, water bodies, farmlands, and livestock are being sacrificed for selfish interests. The Galamsey menace has polluted our land, soil, and water bodies with chemicals like mercury, chlorine, cyanide, and arsenic, which are harmful to humans. While we ask God to change the hearts of these perpetrators, we wish to state that such sinful acts against humanity should not be tolerated. We urge government, concerned agencies and institutions, and all Ghanaians to be bold and courageous to sustain the campaign against illegal mining. We demand that any individual, security service personnel, politician, or chief found to be working to thwart the fight against illegal mining should be made to face the full rigors of the law. We wish to emphasize that Galamsey has serious future health and economic repercussions for our country. It is therefore imperative for government to show strong commitment and roll out practical steps to end Galamsey and start recovery of lands and water bodies that have been polluted by this evil practice.
The spokesperson for Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh, Fifi Boafo, has refuted claims that the New Patriotic Party's vice presidential candidate promised to return all excavators seized during the government's crackdown on illegal mining. A circulating video shows Dr. Opoku Prempeh, also known as Napo, addressing chiefs and residents of Prisia, Huni Valley, and Impoho in the Western region, where he allegedly stated that NPP flag bearer Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia has no plans to ban small-scale mining and would eventually return the confiscated earth-moving machines. However, in a statement, Fifi Boafo has dismissed the content of the video, arguing it was doctored. The statement insisted that Napo, as he is popularly known, rather discuss small-scale mining within the legal framework of Ghana, not the uncontrolled use of excavators. Away from illegal mining, founder and leader of the Movement for Change, Alan Tremantin, has officially nominated Kwame Owusu-Danso as his running mate for the upcoming elections. This announcement comes shortly after Tremantin submitted his nomination at the Electoral Commission on Wednesday. Kwame Owusu-Danso, a well-respected lawyer and influential figure in Ghanaian politics, brings extensive experience and diverse expertise to the ticket. Speaking to the media during the announcement, Alan Tremantin stressed that he has fulfilled his promise of selecting a youthful person as a running mate.
And to the youth of this country, I've lived up to my commitments. I said I was going to deliver to you a young person to be my vice presidential nominee. And I've done so by nominating a very fine gentleman, a lawyer by profession, a political activist, a broadcast journalist, and someone who has been fighting for you, the young people, by name of Kwame Owusu-Danso. I've always made it clear that I see myself as a transition leader. I've served not only Ghana, I've served Africa, I've served the world with distinction. It is not for me to continue in this job unless it is to bring a transition for the young people also to have a chance to live this way. That is my interest. And so I'm pleased that today I am initiating a process that will allow finally the first individual to be elected as a
On election matters, the Ghana Police Service has approved the opposition National Democratic Congress planned demonstration against the Electoral Commission on Tuesday, September 17. The General Secretary of the party, Fifi Kwete, revealed this in an address to the media at the EC headquarters after a meeting between the leadership of the party and the Accra Regional Police Command. Mr. Kwete said that the Regional Police Command agreed with all the proposed routes for the demonstration. Now to some business. The Minister of Food and Agriculture, Dr. Brian Acheampong, has announced a 129.36% increase in the producer price of cocoa for the 2024-2025 cocoa season, effective Wednesday, September 11, 2024. The price has risen from 20,928 per ton at the opening of the 2023-2024 season to 48,000 cedis per ton, or from 1,308 cedis per 64 kilogram bag to 3,000 cedis per 64 kilogram bag. The Producer Price Review Committee on Cocoa agreed on Tuesday on the producer price of cocoa and other rates and fees for the 2024-2025 crop season. According to the Minister of Food and Agriculture, Brian Acheampong, the government has put in place adequate measures to help farmers increase production using modern farming practices. He added that the target would have been above the projection if the West African region had not experienced bad weather conditions. Well, that's all for ABC Headlines this morning. ABC in the Morning comes up next. I am Jennifer Soma. Stay tuned.
Attention business owners, it's time to take your business to the next level with ABC News GH Television's mega promo. From August 1st to October 31st, 2024, we're offering you unbeatable deals to advertise your products and services. Don't miss out on this amazing chance to reach more people and grow your brand. For more details, give us a call on 050-993-0360. Remember, terms and conditions apply. Follow us on social media at ABC News GH _. Attention business owners, it's time to take your business to the next level with ABC News GH Television's mega promo. from August 1st to October 31st, 2024. We're offering you unbeatable deals to advertise your products and services. Don't miss out on this amazing chance to reach more people and grow your brand. For more details, give us a call on 050-993-0360. Remember, terms and conditions apply. Follow us on social media at ABC News GH_.
Inventor Ghana Season 3 is here. ScanBrain Limited, organizers of the Best Inventor Ghana, has opened registration for the third season of this innovative show. Who can enter? Manufacturers of innovative solutions for daily use. Winner goes home with 5,000 Ghana cedis. First runner-up with 3,000 Ghana cedis. And second runner-up with 2,000 Ghana cedis. The show will be broadcast on ABC News Ghana Television. Best Inventor Ghana Season 3 begins on the 21st of September 2024 at the Assembly Hall of the St. John's Grammar School. Registration is open to everyone. Call us now on 054-955-4148 to register. Best Inventor.
Well, good morning and welcome to ABC in the Morning. This is your trusted source when it comes to the latest news, your insightful discussions, and stories that are definitely shaping our world. I'm Epifania Chokotokligui, and today we have a compelling lineup for you. So definitely do stay seated. We'll keep you engaged and informed with every part of our show. Now, let's start with our thought for the day. And today we're telling you that the only way to do great work is to love what you do. So basically put your heart into what you're doing. We'll be exploring today's stories. We'll be delving into the matters of significant impact and progress. Our front story will be looking at the Emil Short Commission's recommendations. We'll also bring you some key graphics that highlight these recommendations and discuss government's response, which is the white paper. Also look at the Vigilantism Act, and its related offenses. And then we'll definitely be focusing on the role of political parties when it comes to adhering to these recommendations. Our main discussion will take our attention back to the key issue, the menace of Galamsey. And we're looking at the rise in labor union protests all over the country over the Galamsey menace. We'll explore whether, these protests are posing any security threats, and we'll analyze the situation right here on the show for you. We have all these, so much. We'll bring you updates on sports, tech, and definitely we'll bring you what's latest when it comes to the world of business. Don't forget you can engage with us on social media, all platforms, ABC News GH_. You're watching ABC in the Morning. Issue on front story here, we'll be looking, as I mentioned, at the recommendations that the Emil Short Commission actually brought out after the whole Ayawaso West Wuogon violence. Let's take a dive into front story. Well, as we're moving closer to the elections, today's discussion will be focusing on a crucial topic, electoral violence. And we'll actually be examining the Emil Short Commission's recommendations. We'll look at the Vigilantism Act and also government response, which people normally call the white paper. Now, we'll definitely be going to this. I won't be doing this alone. We'll actually be speaking to Richard Kumado. He's the Executive Director for Independent Election Security and Compliance Watchers. But before we jump into the main issue for today, let's just give you a brief refresher on the Ayawaso West Wuogon by-election that took place in January 2019. Now, the election was actually marred by reports of violence and security misconduct. We also had allegations that included the presence of masked men and also, physical confrontations at the polling stations. We also had events that led to different things, but all this violence actually led to the formation of the Emil Short Commission, and they were tasked simply to investigate the incidents and provide recommendations. Let's take a look at the visuals. aim to address the issues and then also improve what we call our electoral security. Now, the commission made several important recommendations, which was to tackle electoral violence. These included better command and control structures when it came to clear roles for security agencies and also guidelines on the use of masked personnel. We're going to take a look at some of these recommendations, so we'll definitely be taking straight a look at the graphics. We have some graphics for you under the various sections of the recommendations that the Emil Short Commission actually brought. So basically we'll be starting from the operational side. Now, under the operational aspect, for them, the key recommendations they did bring out is that it was recommended that as a matter of urgency, the police and the national security establishment develop protocols for the assessment and rating of intelligence that was received, and then subsequent deployment of missions if there were any. Also, the commission did recommend that no mask or hooded men should be used for civilian policing, especially in electoral policing or the execution of intelligence contingent on or connected with any ongoing elections in the country. The commission also did recommend that SWAT teams and police officers actually deployed to maintain the peace and order on electoral grounds must have rigorous training in crowd control, arrest and perimeter security for both the ongoing electoral exercises and for any allied security issues that may emerge in an ancillary fashion. This were some of the key things they listed when it came to the operational aspects. Now, that was not the only thing under operational. They also mentioned that the commission did recommend a strict adherence to the rules on searches and seizures, especially as regards to respect for the privacy of the citizen. Now, consequently, the commission recommends that a ministerial directive be issued reminding all state operatives of the need to respect the citizens' privacy except as authorized by judicial orders. I mean, it's actually a long list. I mean, basically they listed different things and the various segments. It wasn't just operational. We had individual liabilities. We also had, structural. So we're going to look at different things, but not to just move away from that. After all these recommendations, the government actually responded to the recommendations, to what people popularly call the white paper, and they accepted some. They did not accept some. Basically, they rejected some, whereas they actually accepted some of the recommendations by the commission. So I want us to quickly take a look at some of the recommendations they did accept and some of the ones that they rejected. And then we'll be heading straight to actually engage with Richard Kumado. Also, so some of the key things that the government rejected from the recommendation of the commission was the government rejects the use of the term militia by the commission, arguing that the term was not defined or discussed thoroughly in the context of the Ayawaso West Wuogon by-election. They assert that the definition of militia does not apply to the situation that was described in the commission's report. And then also, for the structural recommendations, some of the things they accepted in part, not everything. Take note, they didn't accept fully all the structural recommendations they actually brought. They actually accepted some in part. Now, the ones they accepted, the national security structure. So the government partially accepts the recommendation to review the national security structure, but then also they maintain that the current setup as outlined in the Constitution and the Security and Intelligence Agencies Act 1996, which is Act 526, is adequate. And then when it comes to Command and Control Center, the recommendation for a Command and Control Center is acknowledged, with the government asserting that such a center already exists. And for ministerial roles, the commission recommended that the recommendation concerning the role of a Minister of State at the office of the President is rejected. So government actually rejected that one. Now, the government asserted that the minister's role is appropriate and well defined. Under operational recommendations, the ones they accepted were enhancing efficiency. So the government accepts recommendations that are aimed at improving the efficiency of national security operations. So under that efficiency, we had the SWAT team as well. But I mean, going through this with you, I just want us to take a look at the graphics first and understand the recommendations that were actually brought out by the Emil Short Commission report. So basically, under individual liabilities, as you can see, this is the recommendation under structure. It says the commission recommends that the president should review and restructure the Ministry of National Security with a view to ensuring clarity of responsibilities and roles as well as lines of reporting. They also recommended that the establishment of a standing command and control center, which is tasked with inter alia with the role of assessing and processing intelligence for rapid deployments. This center, which is the command and control center, will incorporate key officers of allied internal security agencies, including the police, military, national security, fire service, customs, among others. Also, the Minister of State appointed at the presidency to the Ministry of National Security should have a clearly defined role. It should be delineated role with responsibilities that are indexed to that of substantive sector minister. This should establish a clear chain of command and the circumstances under which he or she can act in the absence of the substantive minister. So these are the recommendations that the commission actually proposed after they did their findings, and this was all under the structural. Now, under the operational, they said it is recommended that as a matter of urgency, the police and national security establishment develop protocols for the assessment and the rating of intelligence that has been received and subsequent deployment of missions if there is any. Now, the commission recommends that no masked or hooded men should be used for civilian policing. So in this case, you tend to see some of the police officers having, either they're wearing some mask or they're hooded, and then it's like you can't actually see their face clearly. And people tend to wonder, okay, are you actually a police official or is this from a vigilante group? So then, I mean, looking at everything that went down, they actually recommend that there should be no mask or hooded men that are used for civilian policing, especially in electoral policing or the execution of intelligence contingent on or connected with any ongoing elections in Ghana. And they also said they recommend that SWAT teams and police officers deployed to maintain the peace and order when it comes to electoral grounds must have rigorous training in first crowd control, arrest and perimeter security for both the ongoing electoral exercise and for any allied security issues that may emerge in an ancillary fashion. So, you know, if you're actually at the electoral grounds, you're voting and something happens, they need to be able to know, first off, how to control the crowd, and then how to be able to secure the perimeter, how to also engage in arresting the people. So they need rigorous training in these, you know, key things. Also, still under operational, the commission did recommend that standard rules and procedures for the issuance of weapons and ammunition to police officers and operatives of the national security who are sent on missions and accompanying rules of accountability for these weapons and ammunition should be enforced. Those things should be enforced. Now, the commission also did recommend that intelligence-based agencies should operate under the law and they should be guided by the fundamental human rights of citizens, which for them is very key. In this vein, the commission also recommends that operatives of the National Security Council should be trained to internalize human rights rules, including the provisions on the fundamental human rights of the Constitution within their standard operating procedures. You know, when it comes to the human rights and everything, sometimes if you've been manhandled or mishandled before, you tend to understand where the commission is actually coming from. Now, the commission also recommends, still under operational, a strict adherence to the rules on searches and seizure, especially as regards to respect for the privacy of the citizen. Consequently, the commission recommends that a ministerial directive to be issued reminding all state operatives of the need to respect the citizens' privacy, except as authorized by judicial orders. Sometimes when they're searching you, it's crazy. in the moment you realize that it's like you don't have any privacy at all. So the commission in this case was actually recommending they should have that in mind. They should keep it in mind, and they should learn to respect the privacy of the citizens when they're actually engaging in the search and seizures. Now, the commission also recommended that the SWAT team of the National Security Council Secretariat should be disbanded. They should be disbanded and operatives be reassigned as appropriate. Now, the commission further recommended that the support for special operations should be sought from the specialized units of the police, because yes, we have the police and these people go through training. They have rigorous training. They go through various training. It's not just about the physical one. You also take a course, you learn. So basically you're well prepared to be able to carry out these things. So if you need people from some special forces or for some special assignments, you take them from the police. Also, still and operational, they said the commission recommends intelligence sharing, which is key, between relevant agencies where an operation would entail or necessitate an interagency cooperation, such as the operation that has been formed the subject of this inquiry. So, you know, elections, we won't just have the police. We also tend to have probably the military, you know, so it's more like it's an agency cooperation. It's not just the police, it's between two or more. So there should be intelligence sharing when it comes to that case, because okay, we've apprehended this, we've got this report, we've got this intelligence, we've heard that so and so is probably carrying this, or we've been informed that there's this and this and this going on, or probably we've been tipped that we should expect something like this. Now, the police should not just keep that information to themselves or among themselves. They should actually share it. They should share it with all the other interagencies that they're working. So you have that you're actually working with the soldiers on ground. You actually share it with the armed forces. They also know, okay, fine, this is the general information we have on the ground, so let's know how to work on it. If not, if probably they get to the place and they got there first, or they're actually not even aware of the tip you have received, then they are not well prepared. Well, the next recommendation was that the criminal prosecution for the offense of assault to the slapping of Mr. Samuel George by Mohammed Suleimana. Yes, it was something that they had to address very importantly. I'm sure that is one of the key parts that people will not forget. The commission also recommends the immediate removal of DSP Samuel Kojo Azugu from command responsibility at the Ministry of National Security, given his failure to appropriately command and control the SWAT team, of which he had charge during the operation at the Labaoleshi School polling station. It is recommended that he should be reassigned by the IGP. I think this is just straightforward, you know, because he was responsible, he was in charge of those things. But then, seeing that as things didn't go well, it's just right that he didn't command the people, or he didn't charge them, or he didn't actually take control. For them, to that effect, he didn't carry out his responsibilities well, so he had to be reassigned. And then when you come to their recommendations under individual liabilities, the commission did recommend the reprimand of a few people. So they made mention of some names. We had Colonel Michael Poku for being ultimately responsible for the outcome of the SWAT operation at the Labaoleshi School polling station. His liability is further reinforced by his failure to properly define the mission for which the SWAT team was sent, and ensuring that the SWAT team complied with the defined mission. Further, he failed to conduct an internal inquiry into identifying the culprits of the offense when revelations, became rife that there were operational lapses, resulting in the violation of human rights. So these are some of the individual liabilities that they had there that they actually had to look at, identify the people that were responsible, and then look at them. Now, the next person they actually addressed was that it is further recommended that Colonel Opoku be made to immediately release the weapons used for, as well as the personnel involved in the operation to enable the ballistic testing and analysis to be undertaken and for further investigation by the police. Also, the commission recommends that Mr. Brian Echampo be reprimanded for his ultimate responsibility as minister in authorizing an operation of that character and on a day of an election in a built-up area. Now, these are some of the key recommendations under the individual liability. So as you can see, the commission actually did a lot of things. But moving away from the commission's report, let's go and take a look at the breakdown of Vigilantism and the Related Offences Act 2019. So take note that this was actually put together by Parliament after the whole Ayawaso West. But in fact, it was in response to this that they came up with this. So it says, this is section 3 of it, and it says that a person shall not directly or indirectly A. Form, organize, operate, or B. Promote the formation, organization, operation, or activities of a vigilante group. This is not for security. This is for you and I. It's for all of us. This is for you and I. So you shall not directly or indirectly form, organize, operate, or promote. Someone said, oh, I didn't form it. I mean, I'm not the one in charge of it, or I'm not the one leading them, or I'm not the one who started the group or anything of the sort. But then there's a case whereby you're promoting it, you're funding it, you're supporting it. So in that case, you're also liable. Now, the second one says a person who contravenes subsection 1 commits an offense and is liable on conviction to a term of imprisonment of not less than 10 years and not more than 15 years. You will go. You will go. If they check the group, they realize that you are linked, you were part, you promoted, you formed it, or you organized, or you supported the activities. See, not less than 10 and not more than 15. So give or take, you'll be in there for some time. Now, for section 3, it says that a person shall not take part in the activity, act as a member of, subscribe to a member of a vigilante group. So if you're thinking, oh, okay, so maybe I'm just going to, take a look at, let me just join them and see, let me just be a member. If I'm not a member, let me just subscribe to. Sometimes you're not a member of something, but you subscribe to the ideologies of the group. So it's like, yeah, I support it. What they are saying is true. You are not directly a member, but you're actually subscribing to the ideologies of them. And you must not take part in any activity of this. You must not be a member, and you must not even subscribe to any of it when it comes to the vigilante groups. Sometimes we tend to like to take things, you take the law into your own hands. You're the one who wants to carry out justice. Meanwhile, it is not your job. You have to leave it for the people who are supposed to do it. Those who have been trained for it, those who have been appointed, those who have been elected, those who have been put in that position to carry out. But sometimes we try to take those things into our hands. Now it says a person who contravenes subsection 3 commits an offense and is liable on conviction to a term of imprisonment of not less than 10 years and not more than 15. So basically, it's the same thing. So you must not take part in any of these things. Those are some of the key things that you must look at. You must not take part in any of those things. But I mean, this is for the Vigilantism and Related Offences Act 2019. Also, when you go to the 5, it says, despite a provision in any enactment, a person who takes part in an activity of a vigilante group armed with an offensive weapon commits an offense and is liable on conviction to a term of imprisonment of not less than 15 and not more than 25 years. So you once you have a weapon, your term, when they arrest you, you actually spend more time in prison. Now for the 6, it says, despite subsection 2, clause 4 and clause 5, a person who is convicted for contravening subsection 1, section 3 or section 5 is disqualified from holding any public, political or political party office until at least 10 years have elapsed from the date of the conviction or after the end of the sentence. So this part, basically, if you have ambitions to actually aspire, you're aspiring to hold a public office, or you want to participate in any political party, or just politics in general, just know that once you are a member, you are found, once you're caught in anything that has to do with vigilantism, you will not be allowed to until you've finished the term of your sentence, or after that, at least 10 years must have passed before you'll be able to do that. So you know that this definitely is not the best way to go. But let's move away from the breakdown of Vigilantism and Related Offences Act 2019. Let's take a look at the white paper, which was government's response to the recommendations of the Emil Short Commission. So basically, earlier I was mentioning some of the things they rejected and some of the things that they did accept. And so under the operational recommendations, as we've actually just gone through, let's take a look at what government did accept from the commission. So they accepted, yes, enhancing efficiency, which is basically aimed at improving the efficiency of their national security operations. Also, the SWAT team, it says government accepts the recommendations or that the SWAT team was not deployed for election security. And then also miscellaneous recommendations. The government accepts the recommendations on operational issues that align with existing protocols. And then the ones that they rejected under the operational recommendations, they rejected the use of masked personnel. So the recommendation regarding the use of masked or hooded personnel in electoral policing is rejected, as it is seen as overly general and potentially undermining national security operations. This was the government's response to that one. I mean, the commission was saying that they should not use any personnel who is masked or hooded, but the government is saying no, they are not accepting that one. And it's it's seen as overly general, and for them it's actually potentially going to undermine national security operations. Also, there's certain recommendations that they rejected. For them, the specific recommendations that related to operational conduct are rejected. This is done on the basis of what factual inaccuracies or the lack of the relevance to the government on this matter. Now, under individual liabilities, we actually did a couple of individuals that you realize that the commission had sanctioned and also stated what they believe should be done to those people, because they feel that what they did, they didn't do it well. So what the government accepted in part in the white paper in this case was the prosecution for unauthorized firearms. So according to the government, the recommendation for prosecuting Mr. Ernest Akomia, alias Double, for unauthorized possession of firearms is accepted and referred for further investigation. They did accept that one. Now, for other recommendations, they actually did accept some of the recommendations regarding some individual liabilities, which they noted, and they made mention of the fact that appropriate actions will be taken on their part. Also, they rejected the prosecution of Mohammed Suleimana. For them, the recommendation of prosecuting Mohammed Suleimana for assault is rejected. They are doing it based on the assertion of provocation and a lack of evidence that is supporting the criminal liability that the commission was putting on Mohammed Suleimana. And some of the other recommendations that they did not, accept, they rejected. They said other recommendations regarding individual liabilities are rejected due to insufficient factual basis. So basically, these are some of the key points that they were putting there. Now, we didn't look at the compensation, but then we actually wanted to look at some of the key compensations, that they actually put out there. But the government did accept and then implement some of the key things. So for the general recommendations that they actually accepted in part, take note, some of them, they accepted the recommendation in full. What the Emil Short Commission said, this is what we're recommending, they accepted. But in certain cases, on the certain sections, they didn't accept it in full, they accepted in part. So under general recommendations, they accepted in part. And over here, vigilantism and hooliganism. So the government accepts the recommendation regarding vigilantism, citing the passage of the Vigilantism and Related Offences Act 2019. Which is Act 999, and this was a measure for them to address such issues. Also, they said for further investigations, various recommendations are referred to the appropriate authorities for consideration, including the Criminal Investigation Department and the Minister for Health. Now, the ones they did reject under the general recommendations were the structure and recruitment. And for them, it says the recommendations that concern the structure of the national security and the recruitment processes are rejected, with the government asserting that existing laws and procedures were insufficient. So those are some of the key things that they were actually, listing. But we've mentioned the ones they accepted, the ones that they rejected, the ones they accepted in part as well. And then, there are some outstanding recommendations that were implemented by the government. So it's not like we're painting all black and blue. It's like we're having, a dialogue. You tell me what you want, you tell me what you think, because I've given you a task, and then you've brought your findings, you've brought the results, and okay, this is what I think, and this is everything that happened from what the investigations I conducted, and this is what I'm thinking you should do. So now the government has taken that, gone through it, and then given you a response to that. So the white paper basically was government's response on the Emil Short Commission, basically some of the key points that they were looking at. But what happened in Ayawaso West Wuogon is something, the by-election is something we're not looking at having again. And all this discussion basically is, pouring down in light of the recent chaos that actually erupted in the Wale Wale, regarding the NPP primaries. And yes, we've had Honorable Larry Bachi has actually withdrawn. But then if we're looking at this, and this is just for primaries, we're heading towards the general election, the main election. I mean, that's like the tie. That is the final stroke. That would determine everything. So what should we look forward to if we're looking at all these things that are happening? And when we're setting up commissions and giving them the task to investigate these issues, and they're coming out with their findings, and government is accepting some and government's actually not taking some, it's some of the key things that we need to look at. How prepared are we as we're heading towards the December 7th elections? What are we looking at? What are we supposed to do? Well, earlier I had made mention of the fact that I won't be doing this alone. We'll actually be joined, and we have been joined by Richard Kumado. He happens to be the Executive Director, Independent Election Security and Compliance Watchers. Good morning, Richard. You're welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Yes. Now, I want to find out quickly, in light of what happened in 2019 regarding the Ayawaso West Wuogon by-election, the violence and everything, and looking at what actually, took place in Wale Wale regarding the NPP primaries as well. We've seen that the Emil Short Commission was put together to come out with their recommendations, investigate, and then, give the way forward. We also got to look at what government's response to the commission's recommendations were. What should people look towards as we head for the December 7th elections?
Okay, so if you're talking of Ayawaso West Wuogon and we are referring to the Emil Short report, there were recommendations. Mm-hmm. And those recommendations are going to be, they will serve as a guide to the Wale Wale violent elections. That is if the Wale Wale one will be investigated. But if it's not going to be investigated, then there's no coloration or nobody benchmarks anything. Considering the fact that the outcome of the Emil Short Commission and the recommendations they made were not implemented in the first place. But for we investigators, or for some of us who deals with national issues, particularly election within the public space, then the outcomes of the Emil Short Commission report, particularly the findings and the recommendations, is going to serve as a guide to us as we look at the Wale Wale one. Because the Wale Wale election has some glimpses of the Ayawaso West Wuogon. And so that is where we do the comparison, and we'll put pen to paper to see where we've gotten it wrong again. But for the state, I don't think they have said they want to investigate the Wale Wale one. So until a civil society organization or the state is willing to investigate, then the Emil Short Commission report will be of benefit to them.
Okay, now I just want to find out, like you've made mention, we had the government accepting some of the recommendations and rejecting some. How would you assess it? I mean, the government's acceptance and their rejection of some of the recommendations. Do you think that this action do you think it undermined or it actually enhanced electoral security?
So which of them did they accept?
I mean, they accepted in part. when it comes to more like the vigilantism and the hooliganism, they actually accepted the recommendation.
Do you know when they passed the Vigilantism Act?
Well, it was in 2019. It was after the issue that Parliament put together.
Yeah, Act 9999.
Yes.
2019.
Yes.
Since then, have you not seen vigilantes all over the place?
Well, will we not tie down to, I mean, probably the lack of proper enforcement?
Yeah, so let's not say they have accepted it. What have you accepted? That you pass a law? A law doesn't mean anything. In the area of Galamsey, you have laws, which is a crime. What have you done something about it? As people and as black people and as Africans and as Ghanaians, we should stop patting ourselves at the back and covering our inefficiencies and ineffectiveness and bad attitude. And we are only specialized when it comes to fraud and corruption, and nobody wants to speak the truth, and honesty, integrity is gone in our society. So for me, as somebody who has dealt with crime and criminal investigations over almost 30 years, there's something we used to say: non-punishable of offenses will always rationalize bad behavior and promote antisocial tendencies in society. Inconclusive investigations emboldens crime and criminal activity. These two things I've just said to you, put your eyes and look at it from where the mission ended and to where we are now. Is that not what you are seeing? So that is where we are, and that is what we want to do, and that's what we want to become as a nation.
That's very, very true. Now, one thing I just want to take your mind on quickly before I actually let you go is, we know that the government rejected, the recommendation that was concerning the use of masked personnel and then, the deployment of the SWAT team. What are your views on these decisions?
I think I spoke extensively on the Michaud Commission report. SWAT team and many the police officers who got to Wale Wale. Do you have the opportunity to look at the video?
Yes.
You saw the way they operated?
Yes.
Does it not look like exactly what happened at Ayawaso Westwago?
Well,
so it's the same thing. We haven't changed anything. We just changed names, and we add color to people. These days, when you go to the military, you see people with earrings, people wear beards, people leave their hair, no combing of hair, all manner of dressings. Have you not seen them in the public space? The military, the police, you saw it. When you and I were growing up, we respect our military because of one, discipline. Number two, the uniform. And if you have a family member serving in the military, you are so proud as a family and proud as an individual. Today, uniforms, and whether they are officials or they are not officials, and some aspect of the policing. Don't you see some of those pictures on social media? And have you not met them in town? So, sister, we haven't done anything. We just changed the names and the positioning.
Okay, so then, since, like you're saying, that we haven't done anything, you believe the government has not enforced anything as much as we've just have it in laws and they exist, but then when it comes to the enforcing or putting the words into action, we've not actually seen anything. We're gearing towards December 7th. What do you think that, civil society groups and the political parties should actually look at doing to ensure that we have peace come December 7th?
So the word is not peace. And that is another problem with Ghana and the Ghana media. The word is not peace. The word is transparent. Okay, so when you are going to an election, there are 4 things you do. Every election in Ghana is unique. Once the CI, which regulates election, is confirmed and affirmed, what the CI does is that, 1, it defines the election procedure. And number 2, it outlines the election processes. And number 3, it provides room for remedies. So here is the thing. Anytime the election procedure is circumvented and the processes are contravened, you are going to have a problem. It is the contravention and the circumvention that led to the issue you saw in Wale Wale. And it is these 2 things that led to what you saw in Ayawaso Westwago. So bear that in mind. Now, when you have an electoral commission that levels of inaccuracies and inconsistencies is high, and then you have third parties to raise alarm in the area of saying that the processes are not transparent and many of those ones. When I set up the Independent Election Security and Compliance Watchers, there are 4 things we do. 1 is political security risk assessment. Number 2 is called democracy and governance risks. Number 3 is election security and election operations management. We have been to about 220 constituencies in Ghana. The issues are real, and there's pressure and there's tension on the ground. Even if you don't believe what I do, remember the Afrobarometer report recently that says that 9 out of 10 Ghanaians don't believe in democracy again, and 87% are saying that the country is going on the wrong direction. I have traveled everywhere in the world where there are elections. The last one we did was the UK election. So this is what's going to happen. If you do not benchmark best practices, knowing very well that elections in West Africa has created many problems for us and it has become a national security risk, it is those things that led to the coup d'etat and the military takeovers in some of the West Africa regions that now ECOWAS is split. We need to be cautious. So you have your electoral commission that must make sure that the processes and the procedure is well adhered to and best practices are benchmarked. You wouldn't have a problem. But here is the thing. In the 2024 election, there's one particular risk element that is likely to show the head. What is this risk? We call it voter displacement. The reason why voter displacement is going to happen is this. Electoral Commission has gone into the communities to create new police stations or voting centers. They have also gone into the communities to reposition the previous ones, which means that where people voted 20 years ago or in the year 2020, their names are not likely to be there. Coupled with the fact that the voter exhibition exercise, a lot of people did not go to check their name. Even when you use the *711 *51 hash, it gives you police stations that when you get there, some people complain they can't find their name. Now, if the Electoral Commission, as part of education, will not message people because you have sold all your telecoms, so you do not have free code, but they can buy bulk messages and text people to tell them their bio and where exactly they are voting. Once it comes from the Electoral Commission as authority conducting election, it is more credible and people are going to be safe from that. So that is what the issue is going to come from. And sister, we have 5 layers of the election timeline. If displacement occur in the first 2 layers, which is about 0 to 9 in the morning or 11 in the morning, you are not likely to have problem because people will be angry, but they'll be willing to go and form the line again. But if displacement happen around the last or the last but one, nervousness comes in, agitation comes and anxiety comes because they think somebody is trying to disenfranchise them. So that is an area we are heading towards to. Then you also have the police who have to be a bit more progressively aggressive within the political space to ensure that deviance behavior and criminality is resolved. The political parties must put their houses in order. And remember, on election day, there's nothing like NDC or MPP. We are all Ghanaians who are forming lines to go and vote. We, the voters or elected, need public education. If we are not properly educated, the tendency of people misbehaving at the police stations is high. So until the voters are educated, political parties, put your house in order. Papa Police, make sure deviant behavior is not acceptable. Electoral Commission, make sure people do not have the reason to be angry and want to throw tantrums. We'll be good to go. Other than that, it's important we prepare and be able to deal with some of the excesses that will come as quickly as possible.
Well, thank you so much for your time here with us, Richard Kumado.
You're welcome.
He actually happens to be the executive director, as I actually made mention of earlier, that he's the executive director for Independent Election Security and Compliance Watchers. And we've actually been looking at some of the recommendations by the Emil Short Commission, also looking at government's response to that, which is the white paper, and then also the Vigilantism and Related Offences Act 2019 that was actually put together by government in response to what took place in Ayawaso West Wuogon. Well, it's a very important issue because we're heading towards a general election and we're seeing, little bouts of chaos that are already erupting under the elections for some primaries. We're moving away from this. We'll be heading straight to take some of the key topics that are trending when it comes to the world of social media and sports.
Attention business owners, it's time to take your business to the next level with ABC News GH Television's mega promo. From August 1st to October 31st, 2024, we're offering you unbeatable deals to advertise your products and services. Don't miss out on this amazing chance to reach more people and grow your brand. For more details, give us a call on 050-993-0360. Remember, terms and conditions apply. Follow us on social media at ABC News GH_. Attention business owners, it's time to take your business to the next level with ABC News GH Television's mega promo. From August 1st to October 31st, 2024, we're offering you unbeatable deals to advertise your products and services. Don't miss out on this amazing chance to reach more people and grow your brand. For more details, give us a call on 050-993-0360. Remember, terms and conditions apply. Follow us on social media at ABC News GH_.
Best Inventor Ghana Season 3 is here. ScanBrain Limited, organizers of the Best Inventor Ghana, has opened registration for the third season of this innovative show. Who can enter? Manufacturers of innovative solutions for daily use. Winner goes home with 5,000 Ghana cedis. First runner-up with 3,000 Ghana cedis. And second runner-up with 2,000 Ghana cedis. The show will be broadcast on ABC News Ghana Television. Best Inventor Ghana Season 3 begins on the 21st of September 2024 at the Assembly Hall of the St. John's Grammar School. Registration is open to everyone. Call us now on 054-955-4148 to register. Best Inventor Ghana Season 3 is here. ScanBrain Limited, organizers of the Best Inventor Ghana, has opened registration for the third season of this innovative show. Who can enter? Manufacturers of innovative solutions for daily use. Winner goes home with 5,000 Ghana cedis. First runner-up with 3,000 Ghana cedis. And second runner-up.
Straight and take what's happening in the world of trends and also some latest updates when it comes to sports. Samuel is ready to bring us the latest updates in trends and sports. Hi, Samuel.
Hi, Epiphania.
Yeah, so what's shaking the tables when it comes to social media?
Right, good morning. You're welcome to the trend segment here on ABC in the morning. Just as you mentioned, there are a lot of things trending on social media. Today, because we are in a political season, you have John Mahama, who is making some trends on social media. We have Eso Germain trending alongside with Pius Hajide for obvious reasons. Pius Hajide made a comment yesterday that he would, promising his constituents in Eso Germain that he will send them to the World Cup in 2026, should he be elected the Member of Parliament for the area. He's also trending for that reason. We have Kivu also trending because Kivu has appointed Mark Brown as their brand ambassador. Beyond that, we have Efuagati, the first female president of the Ghana Bar Association, GBA, who was also elected yesterday, and because of that, she's making trends on social media. So let me just give you a snippet of what is happening on these, or what people are saying on these trends. You have on Mahama like this, you have a comment like, how do we even reason that Bawumia can debate Mahama? Bawumia can debate Mahama. Couldn't even answer simple questions from his chosen journalist. This person is making regards to the recent Bawumia Meet the Press. Now, how can corrupt, incompetent tax leader Mahama fix the very problem that he created? He said he has chewed all the meat and is left with bones. Let's move to another person who is saying that we are all witnessing the works and campaign the John Dramani Mahama children are doing to help their father. I hope no hypocrite won't put a camera in front of him or her to speak rubbish or come write something on social media saying he didn't deserve such appointment. If you look at what is also making trends in terms of Eso Germain, like I mentioned earlier, Pius Hajide is trending, and this person, Kirani Afeli, says Pius Hajide is a liar, a thief, and a criminal, so we won't vote for him. And he's saying that the resident of Eso Germain is making those statements. Listowell Mensah, a sports journalist, is saying that Eso Germain constituent shouldn't vote for a criminal to go to parliament. So these are some of the things that is trending on social media. You have Malik Basentale of the NDC, the Deputy Communications Director of the National Democratic Congress, also speaking on this topic of Pius Hajide, and he's been saying that I always knew one day he would speak so. I Malik Basentale, will get vindicated for calling him a visa connection man and a guru boy. Dear people of Eso Germain, you believe this man at your own peril. He will take your money and they will deport you all as they did, or like they did in the show more. So you have this comment. These are comments regarding the Pius Hajide situation. And like I mentioned, beyond Pius is trending along with Eso Germain, and you have Mahama in the trends, you have Kivu in the trends, you have Efuagati also making trends because she was elected the first president of the Ghana Bar Association. Then in sport you have the recent, you have sports personalities also trending. You have Pedri, you have Ronaldo trending on social media and all of that. So this is what is making the trends on social media today, and Happiness is sports. Right, yeah, welcome back to the show. This is Sports on ABC in the morning. In sports today, the Ghana Football Association is on a hunt for a new stadium to host the Black Stars' upcoming match day 3 and 4 of the African Cup of Nations qualifier against Sudan, following CAF's ban of the Baba Yara Sports Stadium the continent governing body withdrew its approval of Baba Yara Sports Stadium on Wednesday, September 11, citing technical infractions, including an suitable playing field as a reason for the ban. This means that the Black Stars will play their next home game away from Kumasi with Ivory Coast, Felix Houphouët Boigny Stadium being considered as an alternative. However, it is also depend on the availability of the stadium, which hosted 2 of Ghana's games during the African Cup of Nations in Ivory Coast earlier this year. The FA could also be considering a venue in Benin or Togo with the approval of CAF. Meanwhile, the Baba Yara Sports Stadium has been closed for refurbishment following the opening AFCON qualifier between Ghana and Angola. During the game between Ghana and Angola last week in Kumasi, both teams complained over the state of the playing surface as the Baba Yara Sports Stadium, with the coach of the Sable Antelopes stating a country like Ghana deserves a better pitch. The Black Stars will engage Sudan in October in a 2-leg game as the African Cup of Nations qualifiers will return. Stories. Aspiring Member of Parliament Pius Enam Hajide has promised to aid the people of Esojaman constituency to travel to the United States for the World Cup in 2026. He voted into Parliament. The Chief Executive Officer of the National Youth Authority will be contesting for a seat in Parliament on the ticket of the New Patriotic Party in the December election. Mr. Hajide, who was previously linked with the Australian visa scandal, boastfully admitted to his involvement in airlifting people for international competition, stating his intention to repeat same in the 2026 World Cup in the USA. Meanwhile, the Black Stars are currently jumped top in Group 1 of the World Cup qualifiers following back-to-back wins against Mali and the Central African Republic. Let's take a listen to what Pius said. All right, so this is how we end sports here today on ABC in the morning. I am Samuel Nyimabo. Epiphania, you can take over.
Well, thank you so much. I mean, I think it's very interesting, some of the key things you mentioned. And it's quite a shame, I mean, regarding the whole Baba Yara Sports Stadium issue. But we're hoping Ghana definitely, we know we can do better. We deserve better pitches. So we're definitely hoping to see this, I mean, move straight into a positive issue. Well, moving away from sports and trends, don't forget you can also share your opinion on any of the issues we're discussing with us on social media. You know, X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all at ABC News GH _. And don't forget you can send your birthday wishes, because we'll be reading them out. So you have that special message you want to send to somebody, or today's the birthday of a special somebody, just send us a message and we will wish them for you. Now, moving away from this, and we're going to look at what the people have to say. The segment that allows you the opportunity to tell us the issues that matter most to you, the issues that get your heart beating and throbbing. I'm talking about the Ghana Speaks segment.
Times are hard in Ghana, extremely hard.
As we gear towards the 2024 general elections, there have been conversations around having a presidential debate. Will it happen or not? This is Ghana Speaks.
Times are hard in Ghana, extremely hard.
Well, this week we've actually been looking at something that is very key and important, and we'll be taking to the constituencies to hear what the constituents have to say. We're basically giving them the opportunity to assess the performance of their MPs. And I mean, we started from Ladade Kotopo on Monday, definitely went to Lejokuku, and yesterday we actually had Ayawaso West Wuogon. Today, my colleague Samuel actually takes us straight into the Adenta constituency.
You are welcome to another section of Ghana Space here on ABC News Ghana. This is Ghana Space, where we engage with constituents, we engage with the Ghanaian for them to tell us their mind, what they have on pressing issues around the country. Today, we are live from the Adenta constituency in the Greater Accra region. As we have done before, or as we have been doing, we engage with the constituents of these constituencies for them to assess the parliamentary candidate of their constituencies. And in the Adenta constituency, we have two key contenders, the NPP presenting Akosua Manu to contest with Ramadan of the NDC, who is the sitting MP for the area. We will be looking at what these gentlemen and the woman here make of these two candidates and what they are looking out for come December 7. I am Samuel Nimabu. Mami, Pacho, Emma, good morning.
Morning.
Pacho, Obetima Bodin, actually.
Me divide upon.
Pacho, divide upon. Big man, what's your name, please?
Sapon Derek.
And you are? Wisdom Awobega. My gentleman at the far left, what's Kofi Enim? All right, so these are the four electorates within the Adenta constituencies that will be telling me what they make of the two contenders, the assessment of the current MP, Ramadan, and his main contender, Akosua Manu, from the NPP. Mami, yen chance here every hall. Oshe two nkrofo mienu a omo pre apɛ MP ɛwɔ Adenta constituency mu ha ɛwɔ Akosua Manu ne Ramadan ohwɛ mu mienu a wine ɛna ohwɛ sɛ ohwɛ a obetimi aboa Adenta for pa
me mo die me ha oni nyina ne sɛ emema aba but so oba no so ba ebi anka bɛyɛ ɛkyɛ sɛ wohwɛ sɛ dia ha no Adenta village dodo se dia mai enemaayua no asɛsɛe ene nneoma bebree ebi amamu ane de no mpadwuma ne maayua no sɛ be Ramadan baayɛ no waye bi ma yehu ba afie so de yenya na nka Akosua no ba so a me ye oba ntimi de ye mba de yenya anka oba ne so mra ne oba ne so mebo akyɛ sɛ oba ne nyam betena so nso nneoma a ɔgyegye ye nkakran na ebi a ye de ne tena so a ebepie ma yehu enti to me ni mo de ene yan ma na ye wa ha ne de anka de pa Akosua Manu no
o say omai waye enoma bi
baby a metie ye bridge bi buye Akosua ye brother bi ba owo kolebu oyeye ye sister ba akoso yare ye koye no operation no say ye bre ho ye kobo Akosua Manu ama ne ye pe kotua e chese oye na mi nim say bia me MPP bia Ramadan so be nkasa Ramadan so nye ono so ye bi but Akosua Manu no hospitals ne ade oboa nkrofo ene ade evi ene 3 days kura ye mba e kura no wa boaboa ye nkakra isuso so ya sen nkakra nkra no enti me mo die me die ye nya me nko apo asache chese emma ni nyina no ye pa Akosua Manu.
Sapon, you look at the main MP, the MP for the area. He's served for 4 years. Within the 4 years, would he say he has done well? Why are they?
Papa, you
Adenta no. MPs no mapa no. Ya me akasem se den hu ade bi o maye wo. Adenta station ana se babisa. Bawo ka mo si botwe na mo yesa ne ma no bae botwe onzi hu hwe ye kwan ni nyina anye na nsen ye ombe to abaya no mo fa machine bi bedwi kwan ni de wa kira mini MP club ye se Ramadan se oba no so wende mi se da endim tie de hwe se oba no bae ye oba cause container kwan ora na mete e ho kwa de na nye kra ba mame oba no e de omo de anwea pe feli nyina ba wayade oba ne ba no so ye
oba I think you would have a lot of praises for Ramadan, because I can see you are in the colors of the National Democratic Congress. The 4 years, and we know that it is hard for an MP to be retained in this constituency beyond 4 years. I want to know, within the last 4 years, would you say that Abu Ramadan has performed, that he deserves another 4 years for in Adenta constituency?
Yes, please. This is the first MP who buy a grader for the whole constituency. He used it, the V8 loan that they were giving to the MPs. The MP went and they used his packet, that V8 money, to buy a grader for the constituency. All the roads that they were talking about, they said that Kosomen is doing roads. That one. Anybody that said that Kosomen is doing roads, the person is lying. One, the road, be Minister Assembly is doing road. The Minister Assembly, who is MP, is part of Minister Assembly. So there's no Kosomen doing road for Adenta people. The MP too is part. Even Adenta here. If you are talking about things, those support Adenta here is the NDC.
Why do you think NDC supports Adenta more than any other?
Because when you are talking about roads, light, water, school, it be NDC. MPP came for 8 years. There is nothing. There is nothing. Nothing. What be because nothing. Where MPP give it to Adenta. Even at last we met, we asked them they should mention only 3 things that MPP did for Adenta people. They couldn't mention. Even one they couldn't mention.
So you have confidence that Abu Ramadan will get retained?
Yes, Abu Ramadan supposed to maintain.
He's supposed to be retained.
Yes.
Mami, me say
1 term for Adenta. There's no 1 term for Adenta again.
Okay.
Maintain.
So, we can't quite reach out. None more higher na Akushia mean no buy. And no betcha on TV. There be a soon way, but could be what the Shadakam. Nam so, mam no a good pa. Only Passano, woman a quenya. Obey me up, wow. I am near my brew, I been on Tias in January. And Wadrimono, Akushia mean.
Yes, I was in Akushia. Yes, mess about. But before that, man, me say, Papa no Casano, na okay, can't be say, and yeah, NDC for the year. O say, until Patrick say, NPP for NA, a quina, a what area.
Me Pacho, me started Eddie MPP in Adenta near any ball across. MPP na de ball a chance brain the late ya samema ba kwa we free mu akwafo ono de ba roads 30 road Adenta filling station ni nyina ya samema saki ono no ye sesia no bridge ase wo ho nyina no akosua menu e na saki kwa no amaniska no waye de eto aso bi mensu aba Adenta nyina ye MPP na di nso ba ye MPP saki na di nso ni ba ye akosua menu yaneoma enti every park Adenta park aye kura no Ramadan Mr. Ramadan sorry not Ramadan Boabia Samoa enti onfa Ramadan de awaye no na ye hu se park Adenta park aye Boabia Samoa na ye park no ye former MP enti minimum ade a sese minimum ado me nka se ebi omo NDC for ne de Ramadan aye bi am fine but me mo de to me no matena krom ha for 32 years minimum ade bi a NDC MP bi aye ama me matena ha no me ba ha na ma wo me nyina enti anu de bi minimum mom but me nka se Ramadan nye bi a waye bi but this time ne de ye pesa akosua me nu ba bi ono ba ye ma ne de yeah man dear and no dear ha sana me make ba me nkonde me obi say we are na say we be kwan station ha Boabia Samoa na be ansan the last 4 years Ramadan be duru suma this obi aba minimum ni po say akosua me nu na you say Ramadan na you minimum ni pa kon me ankasa Ramadan since obetra so 4 years then me hunu twice pe obehwe ne nipa bi wa ha na me hunu but akosua menu enne ma bibi ye o friend sesi a obeba do nya se sika a obema mi o me bra wate ase but onipa yes sa na Ramadan so betra so ne sa but since am wini ye no obi ehunu ni da but maami or connect or boan crofo ye bridge ye kwan ne ade nyina no it's a here to here no on to be ngusu kota akra obeye bibi se de ebe ya ye toma na obegusu kota amaye enti mi mo de ene me crofo nyina ade ye de ye pa akosua manu
that all that Akosua Mino is doing is because of the vote she's looking for.
Yes, please.
But we can equally say same for Abu Ramadan.
Abu even doing it before we went for the primaries. Was reasoning people, if you are not feeling well and then you call, the MP will go. Up to now, he's still going around. But when they said Akosua Mino is going around helping people, television, because people requested from the television, it's not that the person just came and then give it to you personal. Maybe you come and ask for something, and then I'm going for contest. I can donate it to you because you asked. But you can't sit there and say because Akosua Mino donated something for you, so up for you, Oba. There's no way for Oba.
So it means that you support Ramadan.
Ramadan 100%. And then there's no one term for Adenta.
Okay. Pacho Sapon. In terms of Ejumayo, jobs for the youth, saying NET or Adentimuha.
Ejuma. Okay. Me there, me Majuma, me Baba. But system ni mo de mo ending and the mo ending. I'm a boy see me be mo. And then Mario no me. But how you bia said here. Ejuma said the Adenta there. I just say bia. Just say bia wow boy I create ejuma na asim bia wo ye. But say you be aka say ejuma bi wa ha na boys ni ko e dey dabi.
Ante ye hwe ejuma yon and so in terms of providing jobs for the youth. Me assure say o abaiwa and now bema bi ewo area mu ha. Ejuma ti sen nkwala na mo wa area mu ha. Omunye ejuma eye.
Me mo de na me ka say emema since am ba Adenta ha no emema betra so MP assemblyman enso to me ni de wo hwe se de amemu no omunye adwuma say yenya Akosua Manu na ebi obeboa ye maiwa na no ede na mo pese mo ye boabia samoaba Ramadan aba opare hamon aba obi aba so la ye se adwuma ni ho enti ye nyina ye support oba na Akosua Manu no e ma na ba na wetumi ehu se de amaiwa na ebi obema won ejuma mebra na enye sa se wehu Ramadan atran so 4 years mi mo de atumi ni mi hu youth ni bi a wa ma na ejuma ana asesen eno de mi hu ye opare hamon betra so ma hu bi enti no me kase Akosua Manu ni mra this 4 years so this time we so now no so yan hwe dia ono so abeviews Akosua Manu kokra e be hu se bridge we Akosua Manu na ya ma me we ya record hospital Akosua Manu etumi ekoyi no abamu we bi an bada kolebu holy heart Akosua Manu na ya operation no ma me ni omba ya bato ye nuoma underground wa che se ye nyina ne ye hu sa ma me ni ye bi amaye me ngojira me ehwasa Akosua Manu se bi o ma me 10 cedi and answer 5 cedi but the obeya ma ye youth no me ke chire university or your service me nim say ye dan ya ma me ne ba.
Well, that's what we brought for you on Ghana Speaks. You got to hear what the people have to say. I mean, well, who they're retaining, who they're voting out, and the reasons why they're actually going to do that. But that's all we do here when it comes to the segment on Ghana Speaks. We're heading straight away from this and into the world of business. And you know, this week I've been looking at very key things, assessing, the CD, looking at the various sectors. And today, my colleague Abna is also ready to bring you another packed, exciting take on this segment. Hi, Abna.
Hello, Epiphania. Good morning.
Good morning. Please take us away.
Well, this morning we are looking at cocoa. Yesterday, the Producer Price Review Committee of Cocoa Board has reviewed the price of cocoa at the farm gate, so much so that cocoa price has shot up or has been adjusted by some 45%. We'll be buying a and is taking effect into the 2024-2025 season. And I have with me to discuss this adjustment, this upward adjustment, Ismail Apomasi, who is the council chairman for the Cocoa on Business Fix. Business Fix on ABC in the morning. Like I said earlier, cocoa prices at the farm gate have been adjusted upward, and we believe that this is good news to our cocoa farmers. So the Producer Price Review Committee, PPRC, of Cocoa Board has announced an increase in the producer price of cocoa to 48,000 Ghana cedis per ton for the 2024-2025 cocoa season. This is a 129% upward adjustment from the price which was announced in September 2023. This has set the new price of a 64-kilogram bag of cocoa at 3,000 Ghana cedis. cedis, and it was effective yesterday. And this price is also a 45% adjustment from the price that was set in April. In April this year, cocoa stood at 33,120 Ghana cedis per ton, and the figure, this new figure, okay, it translates into, in April, the figure translated into 2,070 Ghana cedis per bag of cocoa. So this time we are seeing that from 2,000 Ghana cedis, we are going to buy cocoa at the farm gate for 3,000 Ghana cedis. We believe that this, especially looking at our climate, where now, because of Galamsey, we are having issues with cocoa production. We have Ismail Apomasi, who is council chairman for Cocoa Abrabopa, sitting with us to discuss this. Good morning, sir. Good morning, Ismaila. Hello, sir. Good morning. Thank you for joining us on Business Fix. We are grateful for your time. Cocoa Abrabopa Association is an independent organization by farmers and for farmers, and you seek to create a better life for your members. This upward adjustment in cocoa pricing, how does this sit with your association?
Thank you very much. Good morning to your cherished viewers. Yes, like you said, Cocoa Abrabopa is a farmer-based organization. We have membership of 8,000 across 5 cocoa growing regions in Ghana. Yes, yesterday we had the new price, and I think for the first time we had a new price from PPRC, which has not been the case for all these years. Though the PPRC, they will make recommendation to Cocoa Board and government for the price to be announced, but it has always been the mandate of Cocoa Board to announce the price. Yeah, the price is 3,000 effective, like you said, from yesterday. For me, I think that the price is very disappointing. I mean, this is not what we expected. When you look at the current international market price, currently today as we speak, the price is around $9,500 per ton. And then when you look at the exchange rate, when you even take the interbank exchange rate projected by Bank of Ghana, even yesterday it was around $50. So when you look at it and then you do the permutations, and over the years, we are told that when we are determining the farm gate price, we give 70% of the FOB price to cocoa farmers. So when you break it down and then you look at the amount that is announced yesterday, I would say it's very disappointing. This is not what we expected.
Okay. Ismaila, what were you expecting? If 3,000 isn't what you expected, what was the figure you were expecting?
So kindly let me take you back. You know, Ghana, we do forward sales. The market, we have 2 markets. We have the futures and the terminal. So Ghana, over the years, we've been doing the futures. So when you even trace back to last year, September, just after the price was announced, and then you look at the monthly international price projected by International Cocoa Organization, ICCO, from September last year to August this year, you look at the average international market prices, and it's around $6,000. So when you even take $6,000, and then you also look at the exchange rate of 1550 pesos, at least giving 70% to farmers as the farm gate price, that would have translated into around 4,200 Ghana cedis per bag. So at least we expected something not less than 4,000 Ghana cedis, and we are told that the price is 3,000. And that is the basis that I'm actually, basing my argument to say the price is disappointing.
The price is disappointing by you, as you say. is an upward adjustment because we are seeing 45% from the price in April. Won't you say that Cocoa Board is trying their best to get there, although they may not have gotten there, as you say?
I won't say they are trying their best because farmers produce cocoa and Cocoa Board sells the cocoa on our behalf. So it depends on what you get from the market and then the share that you also give to the farmers. So what the scenario that I gave you, and these are real figures and they are public figures. So you can even check yourself from September last year to even August this year. The average international market price is $6,000 per ton. So on what basis are you giving 3,000 cedis? If indeed you are giving 70% of the FOB price to farmers, you are not doing your best. And the way and manner the price was announced, I think that it was so disrespectful. We were told the president was not in the country. He had traveled outside the country. Just last Friday, the CEO of Cocoa Board met farmers in Kumasi and gave a firm assurance that the price that would be announced yesterday was so colossal that the president himself wanted to do this announcement. Now he came, he is in the country, and the only thing we hear yesterday was an announcement from PPRC, which I said initially has never been the case. And then later the Agri Minister came to confirm it. So on what basis did they even delay if they gave the flimsy excuse that Mr. President wanted to announce the price himself, and then it ended up, being in the hands of the Agri Minister? Why? And when you look at even the statement, you are making your reference point to September 2023 price that was announced. Meanwhile, we increased the price in April. So in any case, just base your argument on even April and then let us know, like you said, 45%. But in the statement the minister gave, they are saying they've increased the price to 129%, which is not the case. So you don't need to, give us this information when you know you increase the price in April, right? So when you look at even the whole announcement architecture for this year, you realize that there is no respect for farmers in coming out with this price, right? So I don't think Cocoa Board is being fair to Ghanaian cocoa farmers. Yeah. At least if you are giving the price, let us even know the basis with which you are actually giving this price. They didn't even give us any explanation. The only thing they said is that this year the producer a ton of a cocoa is at 4,800, which translates into 3,000 Ghana cedis per bag. And then even the amount is too flat. You give 3,000, at least add something on top of it, so that would even take care of, the carriage cost and other things. But 3,000 is too flat. In as much as we expected.
Well,
hello, can you hear me?
Please go ahead.
Yes, yes, so what I'm saying is that give us the basis. Just give us the basis. How much did you receive from the international market price? And how much are you giving to the farmer? What percentage of the FOB price? Your mandate is to sell the cocoa on our behalf. We produce the cocoa. So you have to at least be transparent. Let us know how much you receive and how much you are giving to the farmers. All this information is not available to us. So on what basis should we even conclude that you've done so well by increasing the price to say 45%? For me, and the figures that I have, I still maintain the fact that the price is so disappointing.
Right. Ismaila, will your association be seeking audience with Cocoa Board to present your grievances to them in hopes that they address them?
Of course, we also have other unions that we belong to. We also belong to Ghana Civil Society Cocoa Platform. This is a formidable platform that we are members of that platform. We are actually putting things together to also come out with our grievance and then present it to Cocoa Board to tell them that we are dissatisfied with the price that they are giving us. And I believe that they need to do something about it, right? So as we speak now, we are trying to fight Galamsey, and I have always maintained that the number one fighter of Galamsey is when you give farmers good price. When you give farmers good price, farmers in ourselves, we would try to protect our lands. We will not sell the lands to, these illegal miners. And the cost of, production, labor costs and everything is going up. We need to also give competitive, price for the labors that we use. And it is only when we get good price that we'll be able to also pay these laborers very well, and that would even demotivate them from going to the Galamsey site. So these are the things that as government you need to also look at to economically empower the farmers so that we continue to produce cocoa sustainably. This is our position on the new price.
Okay. Thank you for speaking with us, Ismaila. You've thrown some light on this upward adjustment, and we're hoping that we'll get more information on this as the days go by.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so Ismaila Pomasi is the council chairman for the Cocoa Abrabopa Association. Epiphania.
I just want to find out your key takeaway. I mean, it is a very disturbing situation looking at the fact that there's been upward adjustment in the price. And like you made mention, this is actually over 100%. So it is a worrying situation.
Yeah, it's an upward adjustment, yet cocoa farmers are saying that they are not finding any expression in it because they should be making more than 3,000. Like Ismaila said, 3,000 is too flat a rate. In April, the rate was 2,070 cedis, so at least there was some 70 cedis on it. Ismaila also mentioned that if they were receiving any amount, they shouldn't be receiving anything less than 4,000 Ghana cedis. We will delve more into this situation and understand where the cocoa farmers are coming from and see if we'll find a middle ground as they are at engaging Cocoa Board.
Well, thank you so much, Abner. So you heard all they had to say when it comes to the business fix. I mean, for the farmers, yes, our hearts are going out to you. We're looking forward to ensuring that, proper measures were put in place when it comes to making profits that you need to make. Definitely, we need to look at the right way forward. We're moving away. We'll take a quick commercial break. And when we return, we'll be delving straight into our main discussion.
Attention business owners, it's time to take your business to the next level with ABC News GH Television's mega promo. From August 1st to October 31st, 2024, we're offering you unbeatable deals to advertise your products and services. Don't miss out on this amazing chance to reach more people and grow your brand. For more details, give us a call on 050-993-0360. Remember, terms and conditions apply. Follow us on social media at ABC News GH _.
Best Inventor Ghana Season 3 is here. ScanBrain Limited, organizers of the Best Inventor Ghana, has opened registration for the 3rd season of this innovative show. Who can enter? Manufacturers of innovative solutions for daily use. Winner goes home with 5,000 Ghana cedis. First runner-up with 3,000 Ghana cedis. And second runner-up with 2,000 Ghana cedis. The show will be broadcast on ABC News Ghana Television. Best Inventor Ghana Season 3 begins on the 21st of September 2024 at the Assembly Hall of the St. John's Grammar School. Registration is open to everyone. Call us now on 054-955-4148 to register.
into our main discussion, and for today we're actually tackling a very key issue. Today we're looking at one of the key issues, the pressing issue that's facing Ghana, and we've been raising alarm and concern, and we're not the only people. If you've actually been in the country, you hear that everybody's, putting their voice to it. I'm talking about the issue of illegal mining, Galamsey, and I mean we've had different civil society groups add their voice, unions across the country. They have actually voiced their concerns and demanded urgent action from the government. And the recent one is actually coming from the Apostolic Fathers of Ghana. We also, basically it's a coalition of influential leaders from the charismatic movement. They've called for the immediate and temporary ban on all forms of small-scale gold mining. And they're arguing that Galamsey is wreaking havoc on our environment, the livelihoods, and basically the future of our nation. So they actually issued a press release, and this was endorsed by some key prominent figures. You had Archbishop Nicholas Duncan Williams. I mean, they highlighted the severe consequences of illegal mining, including river pollution, deforestation, and farmland destruction. These are some of the things that they've been looking at that. Now, in response to these escalating crises, we've had numerous associations that have joined the call for the action. The Ghana Water Company Limited recently actually reported that Galamsey activities have contaminated the Pra River, and this has actually impacted the supply when it comes to Cape Coast and surrounding areas. We've had health unions such as the Ghana Medical Association and its affiliates. They've demanded a complete ban on all small-scale mining operations. They've cited, yes, public health concerns. Similarly, the University Teachers Association of Ghana, UTAG, the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana, they're all advocating for the immediate action to protect our environment and food security. And we have so many other civil society, organizations, but not to just go straight into them. We'll actually be engaging two key people here on the discussion. We're being joined by Yadom Boakye Amponsa. He is a labor expert, and he would also be engaging with us. And also we have Abdul Razak Al Hassan. He happens to be the National Communications Director for Small Scale Miners. So we'll be engaging these two key people on the issue. But just to give you a quick background, we have, civil society groups like Occupy Ghana and the Ghana Catholic Bishops Conference also citing the government's effort. We're going straight to talk to Razak and Yadom Boakye Amponsa as we break down this key issue. Yadom, you're welcome to the show.
Good morning.
Good morning. It's good to have you.
Thank you, but your line is very faint. I can hardly hear you.
Oh, I'll do my best to speak up so you can hear me. Is it better now?
I think it's a system. Okay, let's go ahead.
Okay. Razak, you're also welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mr. Tan.
Okay. Yadom, I want to start with you. I want to find out, can you provide an overview of the main demands and concerns? We've seen all of them, the things they're discussing, but, people are wondering different ways in which these protests are affecting the members and the communities.
Please come again. I didn't hear your question. The line is faint.
Okay, so we've had the demands from various unions who are calling on government to place a ban on illegal mining, on small-scale mining. That's what they're calling for, an immediate ban. And people are saying, we've actually, should I say, gone through the ways in which it's affecting the livelihood of the various members of these unions. Now, what are the expectations of these unions from government?
Thank you very much, and good morning to your cherished listeners. We've sat around and looked on unconcerned for this menace to overtake us. Okay, for me, it's very unfortunate. I remember very, very well when this small-scale law was being drafted. The then chief labor officer, his name was Mr. Pam Nasaki. He told them point blank that, look, if we go on that tangent, we will find it very difficult to, regulate the environment. Let's look at it from another standpoint. And people didn't listen. They looked at their political considerations and said, let's do it. But you know that after several years of trying small-scale mining, we realized that, yes, it brings money to people's pockets. It improves some economies, local economies and all that. But the general loss by the public through illegal mining is so huge that you cannot balance it with the economy that it creates. The unions are very, very apt to say that, look, let's put a ban on it. But as it is, you cannot do that. You cannot put a ban on it and succeed. We need to look at it and the law again. I think we need to upscale small-scale mining into a medium-scale mining, okay? Because small-scale has now become, anybody at all can pick up an excavator and he's a miner. If you upscale it to small-scale, a medium-scale, it will be subjected to some stringent regulations. People will not go and mine without having a properly designed tailings dams. People will not mine in waters. Then we can make a headway. What it means, therefore, is that about 4 or 5 small-scale mining companies can come together, upscale their business, and then save the environment in which we live. But as it is, the unions can do nothing but to just give government an ultimatum because their members are dying, their communities are dying, and they cannot look on unconcerned. I support them 100%.
Well, that is true. I mean, I believe everybody is supporting because this is a national, interest issue, and everybody has their voice towards on it. But Mr. Mpolsa, quickly, I want to move away from you and on to Razak, who happens to be the communications director for small-scale miners. Razak, first and foremost, I want to find out, how do you feel, as the calls for ban on Galamsey have increased? And we know many tend to actually call small-scale mining illegal mining. They tend to believe that, it's the same thing.
Thank you for having me. Then greetings to your cherished listeners. It's true. When it comes to illegalities, I think we need to separate the two. Because something which is illegal, how do we even ban it?
Razak, could you please speak up for me a little?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Good. I said when we talk of illegal activities, I think we should find the difference, or we should know the difference between illegal activities and then something which is legal. So people calling for a ban on small-scale mining, illegal mining, some of us don't get it. Because something which is illegal, why banning it again? It is something which is unlawful. So we should find a way and deal with the issue. But when we bring small-scale mining in there, so it means that we are moving away from the reality, and then we are dealing with a different thing altogether. For example, we have only 2 sections in mining. We have the large scale and we have the small scale. And then this small scale mining is just by size, and then the large scale is the same thing by size. So if something illegal is happening, let's look at the illegalities of it and deal with it. So people calling for the total ban on small scale, some of us cannot understand and cannot comprehend it, because we were in this country when the same government put a total ban, which is blanket ban on small scale mining activities. And we've sat down for 2 good years. We were having all the social issues, we were having all these problems at hand. But in 2018, whilst we were sitting home as legal small-scale miners, illegalities were still going on, and government came out to even pronounce that the small-scale mining sector has produced over 40% of gold. Meanwhile, there was a ban on small-scale mining. Where did they get the gold from? And who were the people doing the mining, and they got that gold? On another breath, this canker of illegality, it is something all of us are not happy with. We, the industry players, we small-scale miners, are having sleepless nights because of this illegalities which is going on. And we need to clarify the issue. The issues are 2. We have those who are doing these illegalities with water bodies. And we have those who are also penetrating this thing or doing this job on forest reserves. All of us have agreed as a nation that forest reserve is no-go area for mining activities. Now, per the law and the regulations that are governing us, no law in this country is permitting us as small-scale miners to mine on river bodies. So anybody who is on river bodies is not a small-scale miner. Anybody, no law is giving us the chance to work in forest reserves. So all the prospecting, all the recognizance, all the what that they are doing in forest reserves, those permits were not given to small-scale miners. So we need to understand these dynamics and then look at the solution on how to fight these illegalities. You can be large-scale or you can be large company. When you are perpetrating illegality, it's illegality. So all the people in the forest, none of them, if you want, you can check through the archives or the different of Minerals Commission, none of them is a small-scale mine. They are all large-scale companies, which they give the prospecting to. So if we are dealing with the illegalities, let us all come to the round table and say, let's stop all illegal activities in the country. But we shouldn't be discriminating by saying that, let's ban small-scale mining, illegal small-scale mining. Who are the illegal small-scale miners and who are the legal small-scale miners? So let's all see how best we can put it to bear. We were part of Media Coalition Against Cancer yesterday, and then Catholic Bishop Conference of that. When we came out with our statement, everybody saw the difference. So it is something that it should be an emergency thing that we need to deal with. Those people on river bodies and those people in forest reserves, we should put a stop to this nonsense and we'll get the headway. Rather than people pushing the agenda that small-scale mining should be banned. When we were banned for 2 years and members of us, some of them died, some of them were being chased by banks and those things. Illegalities were still going on. So the solution now is not about banning, but it's about segregating the two and dealing with the issues. And when we as an association and as legal small-scale miners, when we want to deal with these issues, we can deal with it pragmatically. But leadership and those things have failed all of us, and we should be dealing with it.
I want to find out, Razak, quickly. Yesterday, the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources did actually issue a press release on this very issue. And they made mention of the fact that they're actually putting in efforts at dealing with the kind of illegal small-scale mining. Like you've mentioned, most of the people participating in the illegal mining, if you actually do your research, you realize are these big corporations, not the small-scale corporations. But we definitely do have few people who are engaging in this illegally, and they're small scale. I don't think that we can blame only the main people, but per the press release that was released, the minister is saying that they're actually adopting additional measures at tackling the age-old, national problem of it. They want to actually use a comprehensive approach to do this, and they have something they call the dual strategy. So basically, it's like the Reformative Respect Regional Security Councils, and these people are the ones that they have mandated to intensify enforcement activities within these various jurisdictions. Yes, we know this issue is actually affecting your livelihood because, like you made mention, there's a difference between the small-scale miners and the illegal miners. And if we can actually put a clear difference, but right now it's actually becoming very difficult for people to be able to tell that these are the small-scale miners and these are the illegal miners. So I think that is why it's become like you've been put under one umbrella. And that's why the calls for the ban on it has been intensified.
My sister, I think I've heard you very vividly, but with the pressure that the minister gave, I think if you ask me, I would say he's also part of the problem because it's an issue we're dealing with. So if you come out with this pressure without giving the action and how you're going to deal with the whole thing, it means that we don't even know where we are going to. To be frank with you, when these illegalities are happening, are they not people who are behind it? We as an association brought out ideas. We brought out solutions on how to deal because we are industry players and we cannot fold our arms and see illegal people destroying our environment, destroying our water bodies. But here is the case: the people who are in leadership are not helping the fight. One, the reason why I said this, because you, the minister, you are in charge of lands and natural resources. And if always you use brutal force, we told you that the brutalities will not solve the problem. Let's come to the table and take these people out. Now, you, the minister, who's supposed to even issue licenses for people to do the right thing, licenses are dumped in your table, on your table, and you are not signing them for more than 2 to 3 years now. So, are you allowing people to go and do the illegalities, or what are you bringing out? Secondly, he's talking about the National Security Council and what and what. What training have they given to them to identify these people and take them out? Is it about the banning? Is it about all the jamboree things that they do? No. We have people who are doing this thing, who are leaders, who are party apparatchiks, who are appointees, who are all involved. So if you turn around to say that you are still giving these people the power to go and do it, do you think that government can fight government? So the thing is that it's a holistic approach. Civil society are complaining, all the national issues, everybody, we small-scale miners are also complaining too, because if the waters are not clean, there's no way we can even get our production good. So the fact of the matter is that the ministry has not handled the whole thing, government have not handled the whole thing, and we all have to agree and then understand the dynamics and then move on where we are coming from. Look, the solutions are in our fingertips. There are two things that we can just deal with this issue, and it will be a thing of the past. But these political leaders are not allowing us to do it. For example,
Finally, before I let you go, Razak, I just want to find out that, I mean, in your view and in your capacity, what measures do you think can be implemented to actually manage these issues?
Thank you very much, my sister. When it comes to these river bodies, myself and you, we are all in this country, and we know very well that there are communities along the river banks where we have chiefs, opinion leaders, and people who manage these people at these places. When you are even going to fish, they will tell you that come and do this traditional ABC before they will even allow you to put a canoe on it. So all these people are there. Are you telling me that those who bring these machines onto these river bodies, that the leaders of those communities are they saying that they are not aware of them? Then it's not the same people who go to pray for them? These people, when they even finish with their whatever that they're doing on river bodies, do they come to the community to sleep? They are renting rooms there, they are marrying there, they are doing everything there. So don't they see them? How do we deal with them? It's just a matter of telling the chiefs, the community leaders, that we've given you 1 week. We don't want to see anybody on your area or in your area of jurisdiction. And within that, anybody who does not do it, we are coming after the chiefs and the opinion leaders there to take them up. Do you think that they will allow the people to be there? Because 24/7 they are with them. And when it comes to the forest reserves, the minister should revoke all the licenses given to the large-scale companies to mine in forest reserves.
Definitely.
And
Thank you so much.
When we do that, why can't we get the solution today?
Thank you so much, Razak, for your time. Razak actually happens to be the National Communications Director, for the Ghana Association of Small-Scale Miners. And you actually heard him as he was elaborating and talking about how there's also a worrying situation for them, because majority of people are actually equating illegal mining to small-scale mining. It's actually become a problem because it's affecting their livelihoods. And these are not the only people we're going to speak to. We're actually going to engage a governance and security expert on the issue, because please don't forget that we have a lot of unions and associations coming together, and most of them are giving government an ultimatum. Some are looking to protest, some are, if we're looking in terms or looking at this from the lines of security, is this something we have to be worried about? That's the angle we're definitely going to be taking this from. Now we have joining us on the line Colonel Retired Festus Aboagye. He happens to be a governance and security expert. Colonel, you're welcome. Thank you for joining us on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Kenna, first, I want to find out, with the recent surge in protest against Galamsey, what are some of the key security risks that are associated with these, demonstrations that people are pushing out there?
Well, I don't understand the question. There is no security risk or security threat when people are exercising their constitutional right to express themselves through demonstrations. So the requisite laws require notification of the police, which I suppose has been done. And the police is then obliged to provide or escort the protesters, not disrupt them. There's absolutely no security threat or risk in that. Rather, the motivations for the protest, the reasons why the protest is taking place, is what constitutes a threat to national security. And national security in this context is not the regime security. It's not the government. It's not the president. It's not, executive authority and so on. National security in this context is about the lives of Ghanaian citizens that are being affected by Galamsey, directly and indirectly. The devastation of our natural environment, our forests, our river bodies, the vegetation that grows on there, the economic, impact in the form of cocoa lands that are being destroyed for the sake of Galamsey, for instance, road networks that are being impacted because of the proximity of Galamsey activities to such road networks. The health of people, pregnant women and children who are born, according to Professor Sampene, with indescribable, features and so on. That is what constitutes national security. Now, the corruption that is involved in the mining, probably the illegal activities, that constitutes national security. Because the proceeds from these illegal activities, because of our lax electoral laws, because the Electoral Commission is not obliging its responsibility to establish laws that regulate political party funding, those illegal proceeds are then fed into our electoral processes to buy votes. And therefore, the electoral processes become artificial. It's not about the choice of the people. It's about the highest bidder. So there's every reason for the number of organizations and individuals who have raised their voices that enough is enough. Because what is happening got the audacity to appear and issue a statement about a strategy. What has that strategy got to do with the polluted waters that for 8 years or part thereof he should have dealt with? You see, so the risk, the real threat is that this activity is undermining our national security. The cost of health, for instance, is going to skyrocket. The kidney diseases, for instance, those who will be dying of dialysis and so on and so forth, will be dying of kidney infections without any support from our dialysis facilities because there are no consumables, and the state claims it cannot find the money to buy the consumables. All of those bills are going to go up. You see. So that is the understanding that we need to have, that the protests per se don't constitute a national security risk or threat. It's a constitutional right. And it's not the first time that is happening. It's happened several times. And Ghana is still there. So nobody should give the impression that because some people are going to take to the streets with placards, that necessarily means that there's a threat to national security. Of course, if it turns violent, or it turns violent, and lives and property being destroyed or lost, then there is reason for law enforcement, for the police to step in order to protect lives and property. So that is where we are at this stage.
That definitely is very true, Colonel. Now, moving away from that and onto governance issues, I just want to find out, the police has actually given clearance to NDC's, nationwide protest that they declared to go on a march, which is against the EC, as they actually calling for a forensic audit in the register. Now, does that give reason for concern?
Well, first of all, let's correct the impression that you are creating. Maybe you misspoke. Under the current laws, the police does not give clearance to anybody to go and demonstrate. Those who want to demonstrate serve notice, and the police acknowledges and then commits itself to provide protection. That is not to say that the police gives clearance. There could be a few instances, for instance, that some group of persons want to march to the Flagstaff House, for instance. There should be a certain perimeter beyond which the marchers will not be allowed to proceed. You see, that will be discussed, negotiated, the routes that will be used, because the size of the demonstration can create inconveniences to road users and to the public going about their duties. So that is not to be misconstrued to mean that the police clears anybody. That was the erstwhile regimes before 1992 Constitution, or sometime into that, this Fourth Republic or whatever it is. Now, this EC's posturing is bizarre, because I'm told that there have even been 2 instances of forensic audits taking place in 2012 and 2016. So there has been a precedent or precedents. It's not unusual, it's not unprecedented, that where any stakeholder raises concerns about the integrity of the register, indeed in the interest of our electoral stability, our democratic stability, the EC must accept. And I would wish to suggest that probably there should be a law that each time the register is revised and updated, it must be subject. In fact, the forensic audit is not only about the register, it's about the processes, it's about the equipment, it's about the servers where the data is stored, it's about the persons who handle that data, those with integrity, those without integrity. So if you have instances where the law says that you and me are the only ones who can fairly request a transfer of point A to point B, and there must be a paper trail, and you wake up tomorrow after limited voter registration, for instance, and the register is presented for exhibition, including those given to political parties, and the political parties uncover that there have been certain names which have been transferred, not supported, then the EC has a case to answer, because it should not happen. I hope our audiences understand the issue at stake. Yes. It cannot happen, it shouldn't happen, that my name has left station in Accra and has gone to my village, because I have not made that request. And therefore, the EC has a case to answer, and it's not up to the EC to say that, oh, come and tell me during exhibition, and then I'll correct it. What about those who are not able to go and point out to the EC and go on the day, 7th December, to their ballot stations to cast their votes, to be told that your name that has existed on this register at this ballot station is no longer here? It's in Kumasi or it's in Techima. And the EC thinks that it doesn't owe accountability to the stakeholders. It's a very erroneous impression that the EC is creating. Indeed, there must be a case that anybody who goes to a ballot station doesn't find his or her name, the EC must resign. In fact, the EC must be prosecuted to show just cause why those names disappeared. 15,000, 3,000 here, that kind of stuff. You know, the names of the dead still on the register, when all it takes is to request for that register from the births and deaths registry, for instance, and then clean it up. So it's a mark of inefficiency and dereliction of responsibility that the EC, since I have started taking note, since 2016 or 20 whatever, every data that the EC presents is riddled with errors, and very simple arithmetical errors. Look, EC has told us each time we are going through a voter registration exercise that it makes projections. So if you project that you aim to register 18 million people, and at the end of the exercise you have 20 million names, something should tell you that there is a likelihood of a major error. You don't need to bring the 20 million names in the register and then ask people to come and find out which numbers must be deleted. Then why did we establish the EC? Or assuming that you project 18 million and you end up with 16 million, you should immediately think that something has gone wrong. So you do your first checks. And that is why they have been established with all the resources that they have, or they're supposed to have, with doctor this, doctor that, doctor that, doctor that. Things that, you know, what do you call it, level 100 or even senior high school mathematicians or whatever can't calculate. EC cannot calculate. And all the time EC gives excuses and gives assurances the errors will never happen again. And the next time the errors happen again. You say it.
That's true.
The equipment that we use in the army, we have classifications. There are items that we call general stocks. I mean, your furniture, your table, your this, that. They can be stolen, fine. But they are not kept under lock and key. They are in rooms where people can go in and out and so on. But there are other items of equipment, ammunition, for instance, weapons, for instance, another type equipment that are very, very sensitive, including electronic devices. There are very stringent procedures for making sure that if the armed forces has 1,000 rifles, that by the minute there are 1,000 rifles and we know where the rifles are. And when we get up one day and we don't find one of the rifles, there are laid down procedures. Now, EC loses a biometric device. It doesn't tell anybody. Somebody finds out. EC denies. And then subsequently admits that, a certain number has been stolen. And it's even economical with the truth about the quantity of equipment, lost. It's not about whether they can be used or cannot be used. In this job, if anybody gets a device that they can program or reprogram or clone or whatever it is, They can use other mechanisms to hack into the system and go and sit somewhere and cast votes, hack the system and add those votes to the votes that will be cast on 7th December. You see it? So is this attitude of an African, that excellence, that you want to go through a process, an electoral process where after all these years, the teething problems that Charlotte Osei had with biometric 2012, by 2024, we should not be having those difficulties. You see?
Yes, sir.
It's like those who manufacture computers. The computers that we used in the 1990s, they were like chop boxes. Today they become smaller. They hardly crack, or sometimes they do. But those developing computers have made the computers more efficient to make the function of those who use those systems also efficient. And the EC is not efficient. In fact, if you want to go by conspiracy theory, you'll be compelled to think that these errors that keep recurring are deliberate. They are not incidental. You see it? But if EC knows that at a certain ballot station where registration took place, 3,000 names have disappeared, then hold that supervisor or whoever he or she is accountable. EC comes out and says, oh, we have suspended whatever, we don't see the end of these cases. So it must be a collaboration between the EC as an institution or members of staff of the EC and some corrupt, individuals, whether in government or in opposition or whatever it is. See, and the EC is not helping. You cannot trust the EC. Look, the idea of giving registers to your stakeholders is part of the political process. So, ordinarily, you must have a calendar. And I remember the opposition asking for the electoral calendar. So, from January or even last year, when we did the limited voter registration, the times have been laid out. In May, we'll do this. In June, we'll do that. In July, we'll do that. In January 2024. On so-and-so date or period, we will hand over the provisional registers on hard drives to our stakeholders. Easily handed over after procrastinating. It handed over these electronic registers to the political parties is it one day before exhibition. Are you being fair? Are you being sincere? Are you being truthful? Or you want to hide and make it impossible for your stakeholders to detect certain anomalies and so on and so. So when those anomalies go through, then with the benefit of what Hobson Adoye told us, that there is a scheme that the MPP had used, knowing whose names were on the register but who were not alive, and finding people to come and vote for about 3 p.m. on election day. Hobson Adoye said it. He came from MPP, out of MPP, and is disclosing or making certain disclosures. You see it?
Yes, sir.
So
still on the issue of elections, Colonel, I want to find out, with what recently happened, the chaos that erupted in Wale and looking at the fact that, this is just the primaries. We're heading into the general, the main election come December 7th. This definitely raises some security concerns.
Well, definitely. And it shouldn't have happened. You see, security planning is not about deploying people to go and sit down or stand and so on. It's a whole array of certain arrangements that are put in place. First of all, I've heard in the media some of the discussions that a certain individual should not have been in that perimeter to start with. it means that cordoning off the area was not foolproof. And somebody could just sneak through the cordon and go close to the ballot boxes and snatch papers or whatever it is. You see, so that was a classic failure of security. Because you must, like my first commanding officer told me, to be a good detective, you must have a criminal mind. You must think like a criminal. So in Ghana, we must always assume that there will be ballot box snatchers, and therefore put in place mechanisms to make it very difficult for them to get close to the ballot box. But having said that, when you run a system riddled with impunity, then these issues will keep recurring. During voter registration 2020, we lost 2 souls. Come 7 December, we lost either 6 or 8. You see, till today, the state of Ghana says that it cannot identify the persons who shot and killed those persons or those victims. A minister, a deputy speaker in parliament, lumps all of them together and say that they're all criminals. But there was one 15-year-old or 14-year-old person who died. Was he or was she also a criminal? Or she was just an onlooker? So those kinds of irresponsible statements, and then the selective application of justice, that 8 unfortunate people, because they are nobodies, were killed for offenses that was also were committed in the House of Parliament. The MP who went and snatched ballot boxes, even if he was not shot by the police and the military who entered the chamber, he should, his membership of the House should have ended immediately. What has happened to him? Nothing. He's been left off the hook. So there's no deterrence for people to think that if I go and do A, B, C, D, I may be shot, I may be maimed, I may be injured, I may be punished, I may go to prison for some useless offense. You see, then why is this thing happening? Because the state is always behind. This one happens to be the party of the vice president, and incidentally, the 2 candidates are one is a relative, one is a close advisor, and so therefore no offense has been committed. You see, I heard senior counsel Samson Ladi questioning the judgment of the court that quashed the first primary or whatever it is. So part of our problem in this country regarding electoral security is that the laws have never worked. The very idea that soldiers must be involved with arms and ammunition ready to kill is not democratic.
It definitely is not democratic. Kenno, I definitely have to say thank you so much for your time here. I mean, we've really learned a lot, and it's been an eye-opener for all of us. We've actually been engaged in Colonel Festus Aboagye. He happens to be a governance and security aspect, and we've actually been looking at, some of the key issues. And then, that took place, a little violence here. We also touched a bit on Galamsey, and then also some of the labor unions that are protesting. But that's all time will allow us today for the main discussion. We're moving away from this and heading straight to look at politics today. Well, yesterday we actually looked at the recent Global Info Analytics poll that was conducted. And I mean, you could tell that from that, when it comes to some of the key sectors they use, and we looked at the favorability for both solutions for jobs and businesses, you know, by the NPP, and also a different one, the different initiative from the NDC. You realize these were things that people were really vying for. These were some of the key things when it comes to jobs and the economy. These were key determinants when it came to voter decision come 2024 December. So in light of this, we'll actually be engaging with some party reps, actually be speaking with the spokesperson for the Movement of Change, Solomon Owusu, and then also a communication team member for the youth wing of the New Patriotic Party, Kofi Akins-Opoku. We're looking at the latest Global Info Analytics poll that is suggesting that, you know, the manifestos of the political parties are unfavorable to most of the voters. Well, we definitely are joined on the line by Kofi Akins-Opoku. Kofi, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
So, Kofi, I want to find out, according to the poll, you know, your breakaway, the Movement for Change has a favorable manifesto and plan than you do. And how does this sit with you?
Well, let me use this opportunity to greet you and our listeners. Let me say that as a student of research, I do not discount, you know, research of this nature. I believe that it serves as a platform or a guide, you know, people like us and various political parties to really, you know, understand what is happening on the ground. However, I disagree with the assertion and the findings of Global Info Analytics, you know, when they say that our manifesto does not sit well with the Ghanaian people. I do not think so. I hold a different view. I believe that the manifesto as presented by His Excellency, the Vice President, sits well with the Ghanaian people and contains the aspirations and whatever the Ghanaian people would want to see in the next 4 years.
Okay, now not to cut you, Kofi, quickly, I just want to welcome Solomon Owusu. He is actually the spokesperson for the Movement of Change. Welcome, Solomon.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Kofi, you can carry on.
Yes, so as I was saying, I mean, I disagree totally with them. For example, when you look at our manifesto in terms of how this government wants to create jobs, how we want to improve our educational sector, how we want to upgrade on our roads, how we want to use digitalization to even fight corruption. All of these things coming together, I believe that sits well with the Ghanaian people and is in the right direction. And so as we've started this conversation, we'll go into the details and discuss, you know, some of the content of our manifesto, which I believe that is the best at the moment.
Your camera.
Looking at the situation we find. Did you said?
If you could please turn on your camera.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, so whilst we're actually trying to get Kofi to turn on his camera, let's head straight to Solomon. Solomon, I want to welcome you once again. I want to find out, what do you make of the recent Global Info Analytics poll, which is suggesting that your great transformational plan is less favorable?
Yes, thank you very much once again, and good morning to your listeners and viewers across the length and breadth of this world. First of all, they are entitled to their own opinion. That is the Global Info Analytics are entitled to their opinion. I find it, however, very difficult as someone coming from the Movement for Change to understand them. I mean, it does not, as it were, make any analytical sense if they say Ghanaians do not accept the Movement for Change plan. Mind you, we have presented a plan and not a manifesto.
Solomon, can we please make eye contact? Would actually like to see yes, please.
Is it okay?
Yes, this is perfect.
So
we have put forward a plan and not manifesto. Manifestos are set of promises not backed by any actionable plan. And this is what the two political parties, the NDC and NPP, have been treating Ghanaians to in the last 32 years. And I am a Ghanaian, and I believe in this plan. So what do they mean by it does not sit well with Ghanaians? Are they better Ghanaians elsewhere than those that are in the movement which do not believe in the plan? And so clearly they have to come back again. If you have had the benefit of reading through our great transformational plan, for the first time in our history as a country, this is the first time an individual has put forward a document that, as it were, captures the aspirations and the objectives of the people of this country. It is the first time that an individual that is aspiring to be a president has, as a matter of fact, put forward a cluster of policies, 6 clusters of policies in the economic arena, in the governance arena, in the infrastructure arena, in the social services arena, in the environment, science, technology, and innovation and natural resources arena, and the last but not least, behavioral and mindset change. So, if the good people of this country are looking for solutions that would deal with their everyday life, on what basis would any organization organizing a research into how Ghanaians want things to be done say it does not sit well with them? When you take, for instance, our economic cluster, under it are several thematic areas that are so akin to the development and growth of this country. Mind you, we have a country now that the fundamentals or the economic indicators are so weak. We are having a very high inflationary rate, a high policy rate, a very bad debt to GDP ratio, a low tax to GDP ratio, a very high unemployment rate, and so on and so forth, a very dilapidating exchange rate. And our economic cluster professes or gives a detailed analysis of how we would arrest all these situations. So how would this not sit well with the Ghanaian? Again, we have shown that in the Great Transformational Plan, given the opportunity, we would reduce or improve our industrial position. For the first time, this is a plan that is telling you that we as a country intend to diversify the base of this economy, moving the economy right away from over-dependence on cocoa and gold, which has served us for almost 100 years, into other areas that we believe would absorb all the teeming youth who are unemployed in this country. We are saying that there are 10 strategic anchor areas that we intend to focus on to create the much needed environment or employment that would offer the youth of this country a gainful employment to engage in. We are talking about vehicle assembly and component manufacturing in this country. We are talking about garments and textiles industry that we want to engage in. We are talking about investing heavily in the pharmaceuticals, investing heavily in the petrochemicals, and integrated bauxite and aluminium, investing heavily in iron and steel, investing heavily in industrial salt, investing heavily in industrial assembly of electrical and electronic appliances and components, investing heavily in vegetable oils and fat and industrial starch, and last but not least, the manufacture of machinery plants and equipment. And if I'm going to go through with you in all these 10 areas, you would realize that this is the only way that this country would stop being an aid-dependent country. That is Ghana beyond aid. This is the right strategy of becoming a country that lives without much aid. And so if the Ghanaian is not comfortable with such a plan, then what will the Ghanaian be comfortable? That's why I say, yes, they are entitled to the opinion. Unfortunately, we disagree vehemently with their position because we are also Ghanaian, and sometimes, depending on how people see some of these researches or surveys and the way and manner they pose their questions, they can come out with certain outcomes. But on this occasion, in terms of the how structured the great transformation plan is, I can bet my last person that the Ghanaian is more in agreement with what Alan is saying than any other person.
Okay, now, I mean, just stay with me, moving on to Kofi. Kofi, I quickly want to find out, you know that, I mean, we've had the recent polls, and then also we realize that some of the commentaries going around from the party's camp, they do not necessarily trust the polls, and are very much confident that you'll win the elections despite the gloomy predictions from the Global Info Analytics. I mean, the recent poll that is going against you.
Well, I mean, like I said in my initial commentaries, that yes, I mean, I'm a student of research. I believe in research. However, I also think that looking at other research that from us in the NPP we are seeing, and the kind of work, right, that we have done under the Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo government, and the future that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and the NPP present, we believe that the polls that shows that Ghanaians would not vote for the NPP. For me, I struggle a little bit, understand, because if it is about the mandate that the people gave to the NPP, that despite the challenges that we are facing as a country, despite the a country and the vision that
Okay, well, I think Kofi is having some issues with his Kofi, you could please position yourself. Well, I think the network is definitely not in your favor today. But if you could please position yourself we'd like to hear what to say. But moving on to Solomon. Solomon, I just want to say that there's a key issue in the poll, which is basically the economy and jobs. And these happens to be the leading factors for most of the voters in the upcoming election. So what is the GTP's plan for job creation for the Ghanaian youth and the economy?
The GTP has a very comprehensive policies and programs for the Ghanaian youth. First of all, we have to ask ourselves, why are the Ghanaian youth not getting jobs to do? A multiplicity of factors that contribute to the inability of the youth to get jobs. The first one has to do with the right set of skills. We as a country have been so over-dependent on grammar education. When I say grammar education, I mean over-concentration on the humanities instead of shifting focus to technical education. So under the GTP, what Alan is proposing is that once someone finishes secondary school, it is going to be mandatory for all secondary school graduates to undergo a compulsory 1-year skill training. You could be trained in the area of carpentry, you could be trained in the area of hairdressing, seamstressing or tailoring, IT, plumbing, and so on and so forth. So that the person, before he or she decides to go to university, already has a skill that is employable. Again, remember when our Alan was the Minister for Trade and Industry, he brought in something we call the Business Resource Centers. These Business Resource Centers, the sole aim of it, or the sole function that they are supposed to offer, is to train the young ones who are interested in going into business. Now, when you go to the Business Resource Centers, you will be guided through how to register a company, how to prepare business plan, the do's and don'ts of business. Now, having acquired all these skills and having aided you in preparing a business plan, when Alan was at the Ministry of Trade and Industry, he helped in expanding or modernizing what we call the Ghana Enterprise Agency. The role of the Ghana Enterprise Agency is to be giving grants to newly graduated students or fresh graduates who are interested in venturing into the world of business. So you have been helped, first of all, develop a comprehensive business plan at the Business Resource Centers. From there, the Ghana Enterprise Agency funds your business proposal for you to start a business. That is those of you that wants to go into your own business. Beyond that, that is why I started by enumerating the 10 anchor industries that Allah wants to bring, i.e. concentrating on vehicle assembly,
the petrochemical industry, the garment and textile industry, the iron and steel, and so on and so forth. All these areas would be an area that would expand the economy to absorb the teeming youth. Don't forget that Alan is also promising to establish what we call the Traders Bank. There are also this type of youth that wants to enter into trading. Now, one of the reasons why they find it difficult doing so is access to capital or access to credit. And this Traders Bank will be brought on stream to focus mainly on granting credit facilities to the youth who wants to venture into trading. And beyond that, we are also going to create an enabling environment within the public sector space to expand the intake. And this is so remarkable that once it is implemented and implemented well, I can assure you that there will not be any youth in this country that will be struggling. Of course, we have only 33 million population. Out of that, it's only about 16 million that will be involved in the workforce. So why must as a country struggle to engage all of them in any meaningful employment? We are having to struggle because we have relied on cocoa and gold all our lives, which is not expanding the economy enough. How is it that Malaysia that came to Ghana to take our palm fruit is now making a total of 20 billion in the palm industry, whereas our cocoa that we have relied on for the last 100 years only gives us a maximum of 2 billion annually, whereas our gold that we rely heavily on annually gives us no more than 3 billion. So these two alone combined gives us 5 billion, whereas only palm in Malaysia gives them 20 billion. Remind you, Malaysia is a country that do not take in alcohol. Can you imagine if they were drinking alcohol on top of it, how much they would have made? Alan says that we will concentrate on developing our palm industry. And this one is not just by word of mouth. If you trace his history, during President Kufuor's era, when he was the Minister for Trade and Industry, he started this project. He went for an Israeli technology. He gave farmers the seedlings. Just as he was about taking off fully, that he entered into the 2007 primary MPP primaries. MPP lost in 2008. The subsequent government decided not to do it. And so the plan is already there. How is it that between Ghana and Nigeria, the distance between Ghana and Nigeria is closer than the distance between Nigeria and Brazil? However, Nigerians rather prefer to go and bring salt from Brazil to Nigeria when we have a Adasongo here. Alan, as part of the Great Transformation Plan, is saying that he is going to further develop the salt industry. He started it. Go and ask Osei Kwame Despite and Oforisapor, whose idea or whose motivation aided them to start salt production. It was Alan. And so he said that when he becomes the president with the full authority of the state, he would further develop the salt industry. And all these things are trillions of markets that will create not just jobs. Mind you, my dear, we are not only talking about jobs. What's the job when the person is being paid 800 cedis a month, 1,000 cedis a month? How much is even the rent? People have to be given decent jobs in this country, and decently, because at the end of the day, our strategy is to rather woo all those young ones who have left the source of this country to Europe to seek greener pastures back to Ghana so that they can come and help in nation development. So all these things are there to help the youth.
Plans that you've put in place to help the youth. But let me move quickly to Kofi before we wrap this all up. Kofi, yes, I want to find out, where do the Ghanaian youth find expression in your manifesto concerning jobs?
Now, so I don't know if we have time, but I think that I was making a presentation where my line was off. I don't know if you can give me just like 2 minutes to finish that presentation.
I'll probably give you less than that. So if you could wrap that point up very quickly and then answer what's made up for me.
So the point I was making is that, yes, I mean, Global Info Analytics will do their research, but for us in the MPP and the Ghanaian people.
Could you please position your camera so we could see your face?
Hello, can you see me now?
A little up.
Hello. Is it better?
A little up. Yes. If you could move up a little so we could actually see your face.
Is it better now?
I think yes. Okay, so you can continue.
All right. Okay, so what I was saying is that under this government, right, despite the global challenges and the challenges we face as a country and the monumental achievements that we have achieved, today in this country, this government has created over 2.1 million jobs. Today, we have initiated and oversaw the construction and rehabilitation of more railways than any other government. Today in this country, we have extended more rural telephony networks than any other government since 1992. Today in this country, we have constructed 2 major fishing harbors. Jamestown, the president is going to commission it today. And so when you look at our track record, where we took this country from and where we are today, we believe that despite the challenges that we are facing, the Ghanaian people going to tell us that yes, we are facing challenges, but we want you to continue under His Excellency Dr. Bawumia to upgrade whatever you have started. Now, on your question, where does the Ghanaian people find, or where does the youth find their version or their expression in the 2024 MPP manifesto? Now, you would agree with me that where we find ourselves in a global economy, now digitalization and the digital world is the way to go. And so what Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and the NPP has promised is that we are going to train over 1 million youth in various digital skills. Now, when you come to, I completed Legon in my bachelor's and then my master's too as well. Now, when you come to Legon, even with our student politics, the various students who are able to train through digital skills like graphic designing and all of that, some make as high as 10,000 Ghana cedis in a month just as students in designing graphics and doing videos, motions here and there for student politicians. And so what Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is saying that the digital space is the new avenue to explore. And so we are going to train over 1 million youth in digital skills. What the youth of this country, the version that they find in the Ghanaian or in the Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and the MPP 2024 is that we are going to create and we are going to introduce an SME bank where we are going to target small businesses. And you'll agree with me that it is the youth of this country that you find myself and my other colleagues who are engaged in other basic and small businesses. What we are going to do is that this bank will be targeting these businesses and provide seed capital. And seed funding.
I would have to wrap up on this segment, but then it definitely has been insightful. I'm sure the youth are very excited about the digital part of it. So Kofi, if you could kindly wrap up for me quickly.
Yes, so all that I'm saying is that looking at where we took this country from and what we've been able to achieve and the hope that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia presents to the Ghanaian people, we are saying that where we have gotten to, we are not to go back. We are rather to upgrade on the many achievements that we've been able to chalk as a country. And I believe that the Ghanaian people are going to renew the mandate of the New Patriotic Party.
Definitely. Thank you so much. I want to say a big thank you to Solomon Owusu, who happens to be the spokesperson for Movements for Change, and also to Kofi Aiken Topoko. I mean, he happens to be a member of the communication team for the New Patriotic Party, their youth wing. Well, this has been what we brought for you on politics today, but we definitely need to go and then, stretch around, take something exciting to release the stress for the day. So we'll go and get our happy hour. today for Happy Hour, we actually have some messages, and we'll definitely be wishing the people who are celebrating their special day today have them messages from their loved ones for them. So let's take a look at that. Now, this is coming from Joyce Timbila, and she's saying that happy birthday, Bright Boto Kelly, Accra Technical University. May the Lord continue to bless and keep you. May he shine his face upon you and give you peace. Cross 70 with ease and good health and prosperity. Keep flourishing in season and out of season. May you advance in all facets of life. May this new year open great doors to you. May the blood continually speak for you. Happy birthday once again, Kelly. Stay blessed. So, Kelly, happy birthday to you. This coming from Joyce Timbile. We're all saying happy birthday. She's actually giving you a wonderful and extensive wish and prayer. And this is coming from Mary Arthur. And Mary is saying, may the Lord continue to bless you. May he shine his face upon you and give you peace. So she's wishing Kevin Quanta a happy birthday. Cross 70 with ease and good health and in prosperity, and keep flourishing in season and out of season. May you advance in all facets of life, and may this new year open up great doors to you. May the blood continually speak for you. This is actually coming from Mary Arthur, and she's wishing Kevin Quanta a happy, blessed birthday. Well, these are the two main wishes. Don't forget, you can definitely send us your wishes for your loved ones, your family, your friends. Just let them know how you feel about them if they're celebrating their special day. So you can reach us on all social media handles at ABC News GH _, and we definitely will be reading out the birthday wish for you. But also for those of you that are thinking, okay, if I'm not able to reach you on social media and you directly want to send a WhatsApp message, we definitely do have a WhatsApp line that you can actually reach us on, and it's one of the key things that you can send a message on. But for now, just send it to all social media platforms. So heading straight to engage with Kodak Technology, take a look at their new tech and contribution to the tech space, and also find out what they have when it comes to the world of tech. Moving on to the executive interview. Extensive, exciting, engaging, and interesting conversation, right from front story to looking at the main discussion, politics today. I mean, we've brought you nothing short of engaging content, and this is actually going to help you make informed decisions. So on behalf of myself and my whole team, I want to say thank you so much for making time to stay with us from morning till now. Do enjoy the rest of your day. We'll come your way same time tomorrow.